When I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah. See, if you believe in the God in you, it's a better place. Creating the force and the power to live a better life. Know that love and joy and peace is one in all of the same space. That you were chosen just like God. Your energy. That's right. Only you can make the change. Share your energy. Shine so bright from darkness to light. From darkness to light. Yeah. And you'll find your way out. Oh, it won't seem way out. The power of God will flow through you from way out.
Welcome. I'm your host, DJ Genesis, and this is Alchemizing Energy. And today we are talking about that, the new kind of like understanding that there is a huge shift happening at our HBCUs. Something is shifting. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. We're seeing conversations pop up around places like Morehouse College, institutions that have been historically pillars of Black excellence, discipline, cultural identity. But now the question is being asked, are HBCUs evolving? Are they being pushed into something else? So tonight, we're not here to attack anybody. We're not here to disrespect anybody. We're here to ask real questions, because some people are saying that there's a cultural shift happening on HBCU campuses. Others are saying it's just growth, inclusion, and reflection of a real world, the real world. It's about identity, it's about culture. Now we're seeing in a very huge pillar, of male excellence. You're seeing a huge gay population. Morehouse is in Atlanta, and now you're seeing more gay men joining Morehouse. And with that being said, people are tripping. They're not liking it so much. So let's hear some of the things that people are pretty much saying. Hold on, let me see this. Let me see the other one.
If you're sending your child to Morehouse College, you are sending your child to Morehouse to be turned out. Yeah. Did I make that plain enough for you? If you send your child to Morehouse as a man, he gonna come back as something else. And it will not be a man. You know what I mean? That's a dadgum shame. All that money we give these HBCUs, them do stuff like this, it's just freaking shame. Now, not only did the Morehouse put OC's picture up there, they put two more, they call them queer, reverends up there. One guy's name is Brandon Crowley and Darrell Tiller. You got three of them up there now. And you know what? This is what's sad. Morehouse is an all-male college. So what is Morehouse telling you? They are openly affirming that they're going to teach your young Black boy that the LGBTQ lifestyle is right, appropriate, should be celebrated. So look, man, I'm telling you this. If it's your thing, go to town, go to town, go to town, go to town, go to town.
In the content creator space, Vincent Ellison is one of the few that are going to give me a run for my money. And so here we are at my Sunday seersucker edition, even though they won't be necessarily seersucker suits. That's what I'm going to call it, because that's what I started. You just heard from Vincent Ellison talking about the debacle, the travesty of what's going on at Morehouse University. And so, brothers and sisters, this is another clear indication of why I postulate America is under the judgment of Almighty God, that the Negro church has apostatized writ large, and then finally, no evangelical seeking to be faithful to the word of God can't in good conscience align with the Democratic Party. Brothers and sisters, if you were to come into my home, you would quickly find out what's important. In fact, after running the Tokyo Marathon, I have decided to highlight my staircase with the accomplishments of my race. You look at my office and you see quickly what's important. You see pictures of my family and you see significant events in my life. And now Morehouse College has decided to celebrate an openly gay bishop in the chapel, which is the spiritual life of Morehouse College. And so I agree with Vincent. Of course, he's using hyperbole, but brothers and sisters, my grandson, I would not, if he came and said, Papa, what institution should I attend to matriculate? Well, it wouldn't be Morehouse. And so over the past decade, and I got my notes right here because I want to be able to be accurate, they have expanded policies supporting LGBTQ students. I didn't know this. In 2020, they started admitting transgender men. And then they have increasingly host LGBTQ affirming programs. And taken together, these developments suggest a significant cultural shift. It's a shift not towards God, but away from God. And people keep doubting my thesis that America's under the judgment, that the Negro church. Brothers and sisters, for evangelicals, this should be crystal clear. Genesis 1:27, male and female, he created them. Romans 1:26 describes same-sex relations as contrary to God's design. 1 Corinthians 6:9 and 11 warn that those who practice these things must repent. And so, can a evangelical institution celebrate sin? Well, apparently, according to Morehouse, they can. Brothers and sisters, if this is no big thing to you, it's an indication that you are thinking you're on the narrow road, but you're not. And that's why I come to the argument of my thesis. Brothers and sisters, I would pray that you would realize what it really means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. Followers of Jesus Christ, we seek to be salt. We seek to be light. We seek to be those crying with our voice in the wilderness. But yet and still, what do you see? You see institutions like Morehouse, contrarily, explicitly violating cardinal tenets. That's why I pray that you would check out my channel, join the Thinking Critically family, where I seek to make arguments, destroy arguments and lofty opinions raised against the knowledge of God, and then bring it into captivity to the lordship of Jesus Christ. If you found this God glorifying, man edifying, then join my channel and become part of the Thinking Critically family. Oh, brothers and sisters, this came from a great worship service. Pastor Randall Bell, you knocked it out of the park. Who is Jesus? And where is my faith? What a powerful message that I can feed on all week long. Where is my faith when adversity comes? And then how do I respond to the truth claims of Jesus Christ? Well, I deal with fear and trembling. And I love that passage. Even when I am faithless, he is still faithful, for he cannot deny himself. That's a great biblical.
Well, I'll say this. It's interesting because, Morehouse being an institution of Black manhood, a place where a lot of Black men, even during the Bill Cosby era, when we had the show, they promoted Morehouse as a institution for Black men to become their new, to be like the pillars of society. So what happens when you insert the LGBT aspect of it, not just like gay men, but also transgender? So you mean to tell me that, let me tell you, so you can't be a transgender woman at Morehouse, like a woman that's converting into a man, but a transgender man converting over into a woman can go to Morehouse. So this is confusing. it's in a very male dominated like world. Like, what is going on with Morehouse? Like, I don't know, but it was interesting because I got to see like some interesting things, like people's takes on it, and it's getting really, really interesting how people are they not down for this, like this whole thing. So let's watch this right here, where she's discussing it. Like, yeah, they're pretty much they're not feeling this whole switch to this whole gay agenda. It's not being accepted. I'm sorry for calling me, but let's go. Here we go.
Came to prominence during the Obama administration, who's married to a man.
Let me go back because
He got a point. A preacher who came to prominence during the Obama administration, who's married to a man. He got a portrait. Currently married to a man. See, when the devil begins to do things like this in public, that's Satan's way of saying, I got y'all now. That's why there is a rage in me. I'll be honest with you. There's a rage in me. It's called righteous indignation.
What is going on with Morehouse College and Howard University? They're honoring debauchery and all sorts of evil. It's on full display. What is really going on? Why is going on? And where is it going to lead us in the future? That is what I'll be talking about today on Chat with me, Linda B. You know, we are too much into diversity and inclusion when it comes to things of God. We focus on things that we should not focus on. I'm going to be talking about the latest with Morehouse College and Howard University. Let's start off with Morehouse College. Morehouse College is an all-male private institution, an HBCU, which is an historically Black college and university located in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, Morehouse is really a good school by all accounts. I mean, it has a Morehouse School of Medicine, highly ranked school. Okay, it's a very highly ranked school, and people look upon it as, wow, this is a very prestigious institution. But the issue is this: why is it everybody wants to put gay and Black together? Everybody wants to put gay and Black in the same bucket. It's like gay is the new Black. I've noticed this years ago. You watch a TV show, everybody white is straight, the Black people are gay. Okay, that's what we gotten into. Morehouse College recently, a few days ago, had a Bayard Rustin Crown Forum. Okay, and you're going to say, all right, who is Bayard Rustin? Bayard Rustin was a civil rights activist who worked with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was also a socialist, which is a step from communism. He was a gay man. Everyone in the civil rights movement knew that he was gay. Not dinging him for that, but it's just a fact. He helped organize the March on Washington, as well as the SCLC, which is the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. That is correct. The Southern Christian Leadership Conference. That is what he helped organize. And this man really was just all out there with men repeatedly. Sometimes I don't want to get into the details, but that's what they were honoring at Morehouse College. And at this forum, they unveiled a portrait, a painting of Bishop O.C. Allen of the Vision Church, which is a church in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you don't know anything about Atlanta, Georgia, it has a very prominent alphabet community. And also this man, O.C. Allen, is married to Richard Burgess, another man. Okay. And my question is, what is going on here? All right. We've been going down this road with Morehouse College. They started in the fall of 2020, admitting into their institution women who identify as men, but they will not admit men who identify as women because they're going by how the person identifies. Okay. And again, Morehouse College has been going down this road for a while. I want you to listen to a clip that's from over a year old and listen to what they're saying. This is a theological panel discussion at Morehouse College from over a year ago.
But I do think we're going to have to contend with that because people are being more honest about who they are, right? And it doesn't look like the traditional type that we want to put out there, right? And no more are people saying, "Oh, well, you can kick me out your church, but we're going to form our own church, and we're gonna have our own places of worship." So I'm serving in the Episcopal Church. I'm not Episcopal, but I'm thinking about it because of the fact, as an American Baptist, Baptists have a right to choose. Mm-hmm. But a lot of churches have their own law, right? Mm-hmm. On how they see things.
Did you hear him, what he just said? He is thinking about joining the Episcopal Church. Oh. Now, let me just tell you what that really means. He grew up Baptist, but in contrast to the Episcopal Church, the Baptist, black or white, do not let the pastor develop his or her intellectual prowess before an increasingly discriminating congregation.
Now that was at Morehouse, again, a theological panel discussion. And that older man that just finished talking, you are too grown to be talking like this. And
this is crazy. I didn't even know that Morehouse is an Anglican, like a Christian institution. Welcome to the panel, Man in High Castle. How are you doing? What are your thoughts? Oh, okay, he left. So I did not know that this was an institution that was a primarily Anglican Christian institution. And now it seems like they are pushing this whole, like, I don't know, like what is happening here? Because I'm thinking that this is a Christian, you're Christian, right? And Christianity does not believe in homosexuality. I'm sorry. So I'm trying to understand what's going on here. So let's hear. O'Shea Duke gave a really interesting take on the whole thing that was going on. And let's kind of hear what his take on it. I'm not a Christian. So in my religion, it's not so, you can, you're able to be free sexually. But when you're talking about the Bible and what the Bible says, even the Torah, there are very clear things talking about this type of behavior. So I'm trying to understand how Anglican University can go into this type of mind, like what is going on. And then it's like almost like a lot of like reverends and pastors and stuff are really getting involved with this. And it's really interesting to see how this whole thing is like going to play out. Let's go.
Morehouse College was built to produce strong Black men. That has been its mission for over 150 years, and for generations it worked. But something has shifted, and the men being formed on that campus are being shaped by a very different vision of manhood than the one most families signed up for.
In the 30s, in the 40s, and 50s, Black Americans were severely oppressed, not just in the South, but also in some of the states where the Great Migration was coming towards. But the Black church institution helped a lot of Black Americans out. It's where you praise God. It's where you met friends. It's also where you got employment opportunities or met your first wife or husband. The Black church entailed all of this, even where your kids met your friends. And that was even true in the 90s when I was coming up. But there were certain things in the Black church, with all of the positives of the African American church at this time, there was an open secret that we all knew about. Damn. And that secret was homosexuality. The concept of gay people in the Black church is not new. It's just now more open than ever before. And I'll get into that in a minute. But in the 1930s and 40s in Black Chicago, in a section of the city called Bronzeville, there was a church called the First Church of Deliverance. In fact, the music that you're hearing right now, Jesus is the Light of the World, this is their rendition of that song. It was one of the most popular songs in that time era. And they had a pastor by the name of Reverend Clarence Cobbs. Reverend Cobbs came to Chicago in 1916 as an 8-year-old from Memphis. And by 1929, he would found his own church called the First Church of Deliverance. He started his church in his mother's residence. And in 4 years, he had built the church to its current location, which is 4315 South Wabash Avenue. There was a secret about Reverend Clarence Cobb's life. Now, the Chicago Defender was the heart of the Black community, and not everybody was excited about the First Church of Deliverance in Reverend Cobb's. It had become a recruiting ground for scandalous behavior. And on November 11th, 1939, the Chicago Defender told the Black community that the state attorneys were investigating Reverend Clarence Cobbs involving accusations of immoral conduct and scandalous rumors. And they were just not saying this, they actually had proof, because Reverend Cobbs had been arrested for immoral conduct involving a 19-year-old man who was a member of the First Church of Deliverance. The legal language of 1939 was this was charged as contributing to the delinquency of a minor, even though the man was technically adult. But what they were trying to do was to castigate this guy because it was alleged that Reverend C.L. Cobbs was gay. And this
seems to be a really big thing happening in the Black church. Like I think there's also Larry Reed, and there's like some things about what his church is doing, like some kind of thing with that. Like it seems to be like a very prominent thing coming out. A lot of these pastors, a lot of these like people in music, all this stuff, they are gay, you know? And so is there like a big secret being held in the Black church that a lot of people are like gay? And now it seems to be spilling over into the colleges, and to where you have a person that's in like clergy, and he has a husband, and he actually gives thanks to his husband and everything. And honey, I'm about to show that too. It gets really crazy. So let's go.
Chicago Defender, who was more traditional and academic in the Black community, was coming after this guy because they didn't like the fact that there was this new gay pastor that had came up. He had these expensive custom-made suits. He was not married to a woman. He had luxury charge, and he was looked at as being exploitative because most of his membership were poor migrants from the South.
Damn.
When he went to trial, a bunch of his members showed up to the courtroom in complete solidarity. Ultimately, he was acquitted, found not guilty. So instead of this particular case ruining Reverend Clarence Cobbs, it actually strengthened his own audience. And then also he had his own radio show. The First Church of Deliverance had probably the best Black choir in the nation. And he would respond to these allegations by over his own radio show saying, I am a full man. I am a full man, whatever you want that to mean. Basically, that can mean, well, regardless of my sexuality, I'm still a man, or this is not true, I'm a heterosexual man. But ultimately, he had too much power. And this is kind of the beginning of the end. Clarence Cobbs was too strong politically in Southside Chicago. He had at this time maybe 9,000 or 10,000 members.
10,000 members. And I bet you a lot of them were women. Here's the thing, and I hear it a lot, is that a lot of times it be the women, because you know most of these congregations are made up of primarily women. And you can guarantee that the majority of his congregation were majority women, because you look out to the congregation behind him. Majority women standing behind, even knowing that he might be gay or whatever, but this is going against like what the Bible says, right? The quote unquote Bible. If you believe in the Bible is against this. So I'm just trying to understand like where we're going with it. Like how does this happen?
He was a political conduit to a community. Other black churches were afraid to kind of talk about him or go after him because he had too much power. And literally, you couldn't prove that he was gay. I mean, nobody was there in the room. Some can say, well, maybe he didn't marry. Well, he was devoted to the church and to Jesus Christ. So there were ways to get around this. So this was a win, not only for Clarence Cobbs, but for the gay community. It showed that a gay black man could be in a religious institution and then not only beat the state, to beat the black devout right, which in this case was a Chicago Defender. Ever since that time, when it comes to First Church of Deliverance, nobody ever really talked about his sexuality ever again. Now, I want to bring in some evidence here. I want you to look at this photo here. All right. This is Reverend Clarence Cobbs, photo in 1946. They're outside of First Church of Deliverance. Reverend Clarence Cobbs is on the left with the red arrow. The other guy is R. Edward Bolden. This was his male secretary, a guy who he frequently took to Paris, to Rome, all across the country, to Los Angeles. This was, you can say, his work wife. Everybody knew that he was gay and that this was his man. But don't ask, don't tell. And nobody really confronted it, and nobody ever confronted him about it after this. And again, this became a pattern amongst all black churches in America, especially if it came to certain pastors or if it came to certain musicians. And that brings us to the legendary musician of the First Church of Deliverance. And that legendary musician is also known as Uncle Ralph, or Ralph Goodpasture. Now, I want you to observe Uncle Ralph's mannerisms. He also never married, just like Reverend Clarence Cobbs. In fact, when Clarence Cobb died in 1979, this article said this: services for the Reverend Mr. Cobbs will be at 11 a.m. Tuesday in the church. There are no survivors except the congregation.
Damn.
Which is odd that a man born in 1908 and died in 1979 had no wife. But the same case will be made for Uncle Ralph here, who is one of the most dynamite ministers of music in the black church. I want you to also, while we're talking about this, observe his behavior patterns as the choir is marching in. Uncle Ralph, or Ralph Goodpasture, in my honest opinion, I mean, you can tell that he's a man, but his mannerisms are very similar to that of like an older black woman or older grandmother in the black community. Again, now this is an open secret, okay? Everybody can look at this guy and tell that, hey, this person is most likely not heterosexual, but don't ask, don't tell. Now, I want to bring this back to the point of what happened at First Church of Deliverance in 1981. Now, again, Reverend Cobbs, who was found out to be a gay man, he lived a gay man his whole entire life, passes away. The church does not have a pastor for about a year and a half. They then nominate Reverend Eugene Gray, who was an assistant of Reverend Cobbs, to become the pastor. And also, Reverend Eugene Gray, just like his predecessor, also never married.
How can you speak on marriage if you are in a gay union? Like, I don't understand this. Like, all right, let's go into this, okay? Because I think it's really interesting that we talk about the Catholic Church, right? But now we're seeing that within our own institutions, there is this whole secret going on, that there's a lot of homosexuality, and not, at first we thought it was just the ministers of music, but come to find out that the pastors are equally involved with homosexual, like, and to the point where the congregation knows, and they still will come, and majority female. So are women kind of like allowing or pushing this whole thing? Are we the ones behind when we're going to this church, giving our money, building this person up? Because it says, listen, he never even had any children, you know? And the Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. How could you, if you're a pastor and you're not even doing the first commandment of God, like, well, what are we doing here? I'm not a Christian. Maybe I might be wrong, but I would say that, what is happening here? And I know a lot of men did not want to go to church, and I wonder why. Maybe that was a prevalent thing that men were even aware of, and that's why you see a lot of more women going to churches and really pushing the church along and putting their money into the church. Meanwhile, you have a whole pastor that is not even heterosexual or anything like this, and there's some things going on behind the scenes. This is crazy. Let's go.
It was actually very difficult for me to get some video clips of Clarence Cobbs, but it was not difficult for me to get this from Reverend Gray. And I just want you to see some of his mannerisms.
If you want to grow and glow, honey, you got to believe.
This is Reverend Gray using the word honey. Now, he's talking to women and men in the congregation, but a man who is in his late 60s, 70s, using the word honey like that at this time definitely is not something that a heterosexual black preacher would use. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because their institutional power at First Church of Deliverance has grown. So now that Cobbs beat the gay allegations in 1939, it is easier for the next person to come in who allegedly may be gay and not marry a wife like you would see in the traditional black.
No, don't tell me Reverend Ike was gay. Please don't tell me Reverend Ike was gay. Was Reverend Ike gay, you guys? Because I listen to him in the mornings. Oh my God. Was he gay? But I'll still listen to him. I mean, he did some really great things, but was he really gay all the way? See? Oh man. And there was a lot of flashy kind of during that time frame, a lot of these kind of flashy reverends, that had these huge congregations. I forget, I did a show with Voodoo Bay, and she talked about the church, what was it called? The United Church of no, what is it called? I can't think of it right now, but she was a part of that church. It was also a cult. I wonder if but who knows? But even that church, they get a new sweet daddy. The sweet daddy cult, the sweet daddy church was, I don't know whether he might have been gay or what, because he came out looking a certain way and dressed a certain way. And what if we find out that all these pastors are gay secretly? This will be crazy. It will be a gut-wrenching thing about the church, and now we're seeing it coming out. Wow.
Church. And we see that with Reverend Eugene Gray. Instead of being an outcast of Chicago's black church system, they have now transitioned into the institution of the black church as contributors to gospel music. So they are no longer outcasts in Chicago. They are the standard, especially when it comes to gospel music to a certain degree. And I just want you to look at some of these photos here of Reverend Eugene Gray, okay? Number one, here is Reverend Eugene Gray. I've updated some of these photos to what you would see in modern technology. That's his facial expression. We see him here in the white. Again, you can look at that for yourself. Here is him in the purple. I mean, it's a smile, but you can look at him here. And okay, it's hard. You can't tell his sexuality, but from looking at the pictures,
well, you know what? I might be wrong about that. Listen, I'm not a Christian, so I thought the first thing God said with Adam and Eve and the thing was be fruitful and multiply. But that makes good sense. So North Star Alpha says it's not a commandment to have children. Some people can't have children, so that would not make sense that God would put them in that position. Good point. I mean, but the fact that the Reverend didn't have any offspring. Because he was in a male-on-male relationship. So, I don't know if I don't know. Let me not even get too deep into the doctrine, but let's go.
It's different, right? It's different. I would say that from somebody who grew up in the church, this is different. This compares to other preachers of the time, okay? And I want to talk about this. For example, let's look at these group of ministers. The guy that is in the middle with the glasses, this is Bishop W.T. Phillips of Apostolic Overcoming Holiness. Look at these men and look at how they're looking at the camera. Some are smiling, but many are not. This is very masculine. You would look at this as masculine energy of the time. Not really, I'm not playing with you type of energy. Like, we're serious about God and about holiness. That's the look that these guys are giving. But you don't see that with Reverend Eugene Gray. And by the time he got into the pulpit, everybody kind of understood that he didn't have a wife and wasn't looking for one. But again, now we're at the don't ask, don't tell. Okay.
I don't know which is worse, though. A person that's not looking for a wife, that's serving his purpose. But here's the thing, there might be some secret ish going on. But the man that is like being a whore, too, in the church, like the pastor. You know what I'm saying? Just getting it in with all the women because he has like a whole female congregation and all of them want him and he just pimping them out. He just being a Mac in the whole pulpit like a pimp. So it's either you get pimped out by the gay dude or you get pimped out by the regular straight dude. Let me just be quiet. Anyways, now I don't agree with just because he's smiling that he looks gay. A black man, the more masculine ones getting smiled, they stood a certain way. Well, no, that I can't just throw a gay title on someone because they were smiling in the picture. I don't know where O'Shea is getting that from, but anyway, let's go.
Here is another photo of Bishop W.T. Phillips. Again, with the Bible, looking very masculine, okay? Right directly at you, right through you, as a guy who is, hey, listen, I'm not playing any games. I'm very serious. Eugene Gray, different, okay? However, I was able to get some footage of Reverend Eugene Gray shouting in church, okay? And this is what I found. So if you see Reverend Eugene Gray shouting here, this looks, in my opinion, very effeminate. It looks like something that a woman would do. I mean, these are clear signals, in my honest opinion, that this is a man who is, as the old folks would say, in the life, okay? Living a gay lifestyle. But it gets even worse when you talk about the temple of deliverance. This is a young man that is rolling around on the floor. This is the same church service that your boy, Reverend Eugene Gray, is at. And from what I can see here, it looks like to me like this is a young man who is trying to show that he's maybe available to certain guys. I mean, it may seem like he's getting the spirit, but this is something that masculine men don't do in a holiness or a shouting situation. Again, anybody seeing this would look at this and say, hey, something is, a little bit off here. And again, this is an institution that is not gay affirming. They believe in the scriptures like everybody else, but you can see obviously what is going on. Then we see stuff like this. Here is some men marching in to a church service, or at least a part of church service. You have these men holding hands. Now, people hold hands when they pray, for sure, but holding hands like this is not common, okay?
Let me just say this. All right, a person getting in the spirit or whatever, you never know what they might do. If they might roll around or do whatever. If that's what his spirit, whatever the hit him, and he felt like doing that. If he wanted to flip over and probably couldn't, who knows? To say that he was trying to make himself available to men by doing that because he kind of like did like strap. I think it's kind of a reach. So I'm not gonna like just feed into that either. If he got the spirit and the spirit hit him and he whatever it was, I don't know. I'm not gonna like demonize him because he did that. Who wants to be in all white on the ground flipping and flopping? So sometimes the spirit hits you and you don't know exactly, what you're doing. So I wouldn't just say that he's trying to make himself available to men, that because he did that. So, but I would say that there is something, performative about the whole thing. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go.
I want you to also look at also this. Here we have this man shouting very effeminately, the same church service, more or less using his hands to do it. And then there was something else that I saw that I thought that you should look at.
They say it's the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost that came down. I don't know, the Holy Ghost or whatever, the Spirit of God that comes down into the church. So I don't know if it might hit people different ways. So I'm not against Christians and if how they express themselves in churches, like they don't have a problem with it. I don't have one either. But the main thing is he is discussing how effeminate certain of the things they were doing were kind of coming out.
So this man is also, again, he's doing some kind of ballerina thing in the background. Again, anybody would see what's going on here, but it's an open secret. Don't ask, don't tell. Again, remember, these guys went from being almost shut down to now having institutional power in the city. They're now a black church legacy place, and they're accepted now. They're in the game, right? I want you to talk about the old landmark church, right? Here is a large church in the city of Chicago. And this church, in my honest opinion, they didn't play the gay stuff, okay? I want you to look at how this man, how he is shouting and praising God. Now he's, in the spirit, as they say. I want you to compare that to what you see here. I don't even know if that was a woman or a man at first, but that's an older guy who I believe is not just shouting because he's so in the spirit. He's basically advertising for you know what.
Now, come on now, O'Shea, you doing too much, bro. But I will say that is performance, like, I don't know, to me. But maybe he had a lot going on in his life. He just was feeling it, and he just they just let people be free and scream and holler and make noise and whatever. So I wouldn't just say because he's trying to advertise, and that's getting kind of weird. So North Star Alpha says some people become calm, others cry or shout, but shouting to me seems to be acting the Holy Spirit comforts and is calming. And a lot of times when I've heard like people get like the speaking in tongues, I thought there was supposed to be someone that could interpret the tongue. Like, so you're like a hush, whatever, and someone could be like, they're saying this. That's what I always thought. Or they should, when they say it, and then they interpret it in another language. That's what I always thought. But it is kind of performative. I don't know. I don't know.
Most likely, okay? Now, I want you to compare this guy, the old landmark guy, and these men, how they're shouting, compare it to this. You see, these men are like warriors, right? In the spirit, and these guys are not, right? But again, Nobody is coming after the First Church of Deliverance calling you gay. Now, again, remember, Uncle Ralph Goodpasture in the black church calling somebody uncle, and I want to mention that, calling somebody uncle, and this is the case with Uncle Butch Hayward, the guy out of New York City, or Professor James Hall, allegedly gay men who have never married, but you don't have a wife, so you can't call them Deacon Hayward, you can't call them a Pastor Hayward, because they have never married. So they give you the title of uncle to give you some level of respect and put you in the family, although they know that you have never had an interest in women and you never will. Okay. Now, I brought all of this down because the First Church of Deliverance opened the door for men to be gay in church and to do it, especially in a progressive city like Chicago, and nobody can question it. They are the first church to open the doors for the outright gay and affirming churches that you see today. And this is not only affecting the church community, it's affecting young black men who want to enter Morehouse.
This is a family leadership conversation. And if you have a son, you need to hear this. Every parent who has ever sacrificed to send a child to a prestigious institution knows what that investment represents. It is not just tuition, it is trust. And right now, that trust is being tested. Morehouse recently unveiled a portrait of Bishop O.C. Allen inside the Martin Luther King Jr. International Chapel on campus. And I want to be clear, this is not about one portrait on one wall. This is about what that portrait represents, what it signals, and how long that signal has actually been broadcasting. If you are a parent, a father, a family builder, this conversation is for you, because what is at stake is something no diploma can replace.
I'm gonna say this. You know what? That is an interesting thing. That, you know, so now you have a church where you have a gay pastor, and then they end up getting inducted into Morehouse, and their image is up there. But then, so it's like, what does this say to black men? Like, is it like, so people want to make it about Democrats versus, oh, it's a Democrat agenda. I think it's been an agenda across the board, no matter what, because even the other side secretly does stuff. So just because they're Democrats or Republicans does not mean that they ain't secretly gay on whatever. So he says, I don't know enough about the speaking in tongues, but my grandfather did. I grew up around it. Most of the time, no one can interpret, but on rare occasions, I've seen it done. Very rare, though. From what I understood in the Bible, I think, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this, but I thought that when someone speaks in tongues, there should be an interpreter. But let's talk about what's happening at Morehouse.
Now, shout out to this sister. I've been watching a lot of her commentary. Her name is, his channel called Family Still Matters. And she's been talking about something that we all know that has been very true over the years, which is young men going to Morehouse and HBCU'S at large, in the energy of these universities to, instead of your son coming out as a masculine man, that the universities now have a different agenda. And she's going to point out what that agenda is.
Give you one illustration of how difficult that is. That means we're not locked into just two genders. That's the big hurdle. The church is having a hard time with that. There are more than just two genders. And if you believe that that is the ironclad law, then what you're revealing is that you really don't have a very deep understanding or knowledge about human nature.
What? Like, what? There are more than one gender now? This is a meeting had at Morehouse. What? And the guy that's saying this at the head of the table, and he's telling this to a bunch of men. So what is this doing to our Black men that are going to this college? So I don't know.
And the human species. You don't realize how the whole creation is evolving, changing every day, growing up to be something very different. And people, as Dr. King used to say, just want to be free.
And then he bring Dr. King into it. Like, I don't think that's what Dr. King was talking about. Just like Dr. King said, we just want to be free. What the hell are we talking about? Oh my God, what is happening? I didn't even know this existed. Wow.
Free to be themselves. And there's where the toxicity comes in, because you have institutional resistance in the church, in the government, and in the universities. It's been going on since the beginning of.
What is this panel? Are these all gay men? Or what is happening here? Is this a panel of just men, like from all the fraternity? Like, so, like, can you be in a fraternity and be openly gay? Is that like a normal thing now? Like, what is happening? This is interesting, because wow.
Civilization.
Now, I want to talk about Reverend Lawrence Carter Sr. Now, if you guys didn't know, he's been the leader of the Martin Luther King Chapel in Morehouse since 1979. He's an academic, PhD from Boston University, same university that Dr. King went to. And recently they have been acknowledging gay Black pastor clergymen and putting them in the chapel for their queer spiritual leadership. This is the first time it's happened. And of those three, Bishop O.C. Allen, a former Morehouse graduate, Dr. Brandon Crowley, who's the pastor of the historic Myrtle Baptist Church in Newton, Massachusetts. He didn't even tell his church that he was gay. They had to figure it out. And Reverend Father Darrell L. Tiller, and he kept his job, by the way. So this is what's happening. And you heard from this particular teaching that he's trying to tell people there are more than two genders. Now, in 1979, when he became the leader of Morehouse Chapel, I can guarantee you he wasn't talking about that himself. But the agenda to make Black men more at least appreciative to alternative ideologies, or maybe more effeminate themselves, is not just happening from, you know, hey, somebody down the street happens to be gay or something like that. That's the accusation. No. It's happening in the academic institutions of the HBCU'S, such as this one, and that is her point, okay? I saw this when I was also at Howard University, although this is a more aggressive situation. And she said this.
Here is what I need you to understand. The institution was never going to do the job that only you can do. And the moment we stopped paying attention, the drift had already begun. Institutions do not drift overnight. They drift slowly. One small shift at a time. I know this firsthand. Back in 2001, I took my son on a Black college tour through Atlanta. Morehouse had offered him a scholarship, and he turned it down. Not because the academics weren't excellent. He turned it down because of what he observed when we walked that campus. The effeminate energy among several administrators and students was visible even then. It was not subtle. And my son, who knew exactly what kind of man he was becoming, looked at that environment and said, this is not where I want to be or need to be.
Now, her argument is that institutions don't just drift. These things happen slowly over time.
Man, listen, I never heard of it either. And then when I looked into it, like the fact that they are accepting transgender women, like women to male type of things into the whole institution. And this is a Christian institution, by the way. I didn't even know that Morehouse was a Christian institution. Welcome to the panel, guys. What are your thoughts so far? This is crazy, like, when you think about it. Welcome, Reverend Green. What are your thoughts?
Welcome, DJ Genesis. My thoughts have always been constant. Um, Always been constant of what I've said. Gutter lust is at an all-time high, and when I say gutter lust, it's anything that goes against creation. I'm very simple with how I say things and my intentions. When I speak about the creator is always usually being praised, but his creation, which is creation, is rarely praised. And that is be fruitful, multiply with healthy organic offspring for generations and generations to preserve life and to regenerate more reproductive opportunities and production opportunities here on planet Earth.
And so the Battle Zone 1480 says indoctrination. It's always been there. It is the movement of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood. What's the slowdown? The growth of agenda is of a person, and if you get two people are the same. Welcome to the panel at Zion Warren. What are your thoughts about what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, I found it very interesting the part that discussed the church. You know what I'm saying? Growing up as a PK, and I'm doing a presentation on the defilement of the name. It's called the defilement of the name. It's dealing with how the church and history, how we see Christianity in history, Christian empires and such have brought a defilement to the name. But in the Kojic Church of God in Christ that I grew up in, early as a young person, I started, there was, one or two gay people here or there, gay brothers or whatever, men. You really didn't see much of that with the women until later. But as I got older, I started seeing a large flux of outwardly, gay people within the church. And so it's very interesting that he brought up that one church. What did he say it was? Was it in Chicago or something?
In Chicago, I forget what it's called, but
yeah. He said that's where some of that began, which I thought is very interesting. But like my presentation isn't focused specifically on homosexuality or anything necessarily, but when you start going outside of what the Bible instructed as a person who is preaching the gospel or a person who is committing themselves to a Christian lifestyle, we have to see that this is saying it's out of bounds. It's a flag on the field. So I thought that was very interesting. I don't know too much about the Morehouse situation. I'm starting to see what the sister was saying. I think that's very interesting too. Also, there was I was on a discussion. I was on a panel with Ilkan Ali, and we were discussing like the drop in birth rates and stuff, which I think has a large effect on it is affected by cultural changes and stuff going on in more secular cultures nowadays, and people's ideas about gender now. So we're seeing age populations rise, and we're seeing a decline in reproductive rates. So yeah, this is an interesting lesson.
Did you see the part where I showed the actual boardroom hearing where they said that there's an actual another gender? Did you see that part?
I caught that part, just now, a little while, just a couple of minutes ago.
What do you think about that? I'm like,
I mean, that's absolutely absurd. You can just make up shit. You got XY and you got XX, and that's it. And two plugs don't make it light, like two wrongs don't make it right.
What's your thoughts, Reverend?
Pretty much it's just very simple. I don't believe in declining birth rates for certain demographics like my own, full-blood Americans here in the United States. Ours has always been underscored but it's always the reaction of the dominant society, how they react. And when they start reacting, they start panicking. And this is how come they're asking, specifically begging for more in virtual fertilization healthcare to make it more affordable and all that stuff for them, and $5,000 per baby and stuff of that nature. It's specifically, yes, it's being packaged like it's going to be all American, but this is specifically for the low birth rate community, which is the dominant society. Our numbers are fine. It's the hysteria from naysayers of the community. However, what needs to be done, first and foremost, parents, healthy parents, should be instructing their children about sex education at home, not the public school system. That's a no-no. Also, eugenics in the church, Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger had a big hand with the so-called Black AME Baptist type of churches. She definitely had a big role into using them as liaisons to push Planned Parenthood or birth control. And this has been working successfully because you have a lot of olders who are not elders. They keep pushing this identity politics and this eugenics. This is how come the Democratic Party, oh yeah, when I say this, yes, it gets a couple people's upset when I say the Democratic Party, but they've always been revealing that they're with this, and they pump anti-creation. Anti-creation, like I said, is going against the creator. And I'm not saying in a spooky sense. I'm saying it in, it is our duty and obligation. It's not just go to school, get higher degree. See, my biggest major red flags in people are higher education, diversity, and traveling. These are red flags in my eyes. Where are you going to have time to raise a healthy family?
I just want to give a little pushback on that.
You can push back all you want, sir.
I will. So African American birth rates are declining, and the decline is measurable, but not as extreme as some claims suggest, right? So what the data actually shows, CDC 2024 to 2025, Black birth rate numbers fell by 4% in 2024. It says here that
so you're reading from a fucking website, you both?
Oh, stop it.
You freaking douchebag.
You fucking queer?
Fucking goddamn cock.
No. We're not doing it.
Juggling, fruit booty ass nigga.
Can you share your screen of what you're?
I'm reading from my AI app right now. So it just says so I just, you know what I'm saying, just to ask a quick question because
I'll put it. Let's see. What'd you
made a statement.
What'd you put as your search?
Excuse me. I just said our African American birth rates declining after he just sat there and freaking tried to deny it. So, you know, because
they're not.
Excuse me, sir. I want you to shut the fuck up.
No, I'm not. You queer?
Can you put him down for a second? Because he's a retard.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, he's fucking.
You're queer.
Yeah, my dick hole in your mouth, faggot.
But here is what okay.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I mean to say
SRP. Yes, nigga. Hold on, this is based on.
Come on, can I finish what I was reading?
That's it. So that's what.
I just wanted to finish what I was reading. And see, for me, I don't just lean on my own understanding like the Bible says not to do, right? The Bible says to study to show thyself approved. So what I'm not going to do is just come out of my mouth and say something if I don't have information on it. Oh, you reading from something? Yes, I am. I cite sources because I'm a scholar and not a freaking daggone bigoted freaking daggone bum bump you know what I'm saying, full of his own daggone fucking goddamn propagandist thoughts. I'm not here to propagate ideas, you know what I'm saying? But economic or political freaking agendas, you know what I'm saying? Get out of here, D. So economic pressure, rising costs of housing, childcare, and overall living expenses hit Black families harder. And long-standing economic disparities. It has sources here. Delayed childbearing in higher education. He said something against higher education. The only problem is I kind of agree to a degree, right? I think higher education is necessary. However, more Black women pursuing higher education and delaying childbirth. You know what I'm saying? Because most women are not focused on having a child in their early years, because they want to go to school and they want to pursue their goals. I don't have a problem with that. However, it does have an effect. Health concerns and maternal mortality. We know our Black women are facing higher mortality rates in childbirth. Interesting, right? And the fertility-related health risks, which influence family planning decisions. I definitely agree with the brother who was in the chat who said something about the Planned Parenthood. That absolutely. Right. So access to birth control and family planning, systemic stress and racial inequalities, chronic stress, discrimination and health inequities have measurable effects on fertility and pregnancy outcomes. Right. So the total U.S. fertility rate in 2024, 1.63 births per women. It even shows the difference. 4% African-American women's on the decline, Hispanic women, 4% increase, Asian women, 5% increase. Interesting, right? So yeah, African-American birth rates are in fact declining. So, you know, if you want to pick that dude, this is one of the reasons why I don't come on the show too much, because, you know, you got that dude and the other dude, freaking mulatto freaking dude, and I can't fuck with them niggas. I get sick and tired of retards. So that's why I be on other panels. Anyway.
Well, I hope that you don't continue to like not be on the show, because I do like fact-based information.
Oh, when they're on, I'm not going to be on. I just popped in and he popped in. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck with them.
Right. So you're right about this, and even when he was saying it that the Black birth rate is not going down, I'm like, well, no. I was about to bring it up myself, so you just brought up something I was going to bring up my own self. Like, yeah, it is kind of going down. Now he's saying, well, you looked at the website. Well, no, these are websites. These are poll things that people have.
That's what intelligent people do. We look up sources to find facts. We don't just blow smoke out of our asses.
Yeah. So we can't just believe just because we say so. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it is declining. It might not be as fast as the dominant so-called society that, like Tariq likes to call, like the white society. It might not be as fast.
Yeah, they're going down bad. They're going down freaking bad.
So we can say it is declining, but not as fast, but it is declining. So let's not pretend like incarceration, the new like kind of like LGBT movement is not contributing to like the low birth rate. Let's not pretend like this.
Right.
And that is what this discussion is really about. Is that if we have our main people that are in these institutions, like say a Morehouse, you know, say all these HBCU'S. Now these people, this is normally when people like actually find their mates is in college, right? But it's being pushed like through religion that, hey, you know, there's a different gender, all this different stuff. And then if these people also join fraternities and then they're getting introduced to homosexuality in that, you know, because, you know, we had this hazing thing that was going on. Who knows where the hazing might go? And not to sound like that this is crazy, but I'm like, who knows? You know, you might have to, instead of like, you know, whatever they do during hazing, do some kind of gay-ish, which probably already existed anyway. Who knows? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it existed, but it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't propagated and it wasn't a trend. It's become a trend since the 1960s and 1970s, since YMCA. It's a trend now. So it's not just people who are, you know what I'm saying, attracted to, you know what I'm saying, the same sex, you know what I'm saying, for whatever, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, biological reason. It's being promoted as a lifestyle choice. And so there are people who are susceptible to thinking, you know, against the, you know, the grain, and they choose to dabble in certain things, and then later on find out that that was not what they wanted. And then you have that problem, you know what I'm saying? but it is definitely a propagated trend more so than it, you know, like there's more than one gender. Not really. No, there were people who were freaking daggone who had, you know, but it wasn't like it is now. It's television media is propagating lifestyle choices, and people are eating it like, you know what I'm saying, they're eating it.
Right. So let's play some more of this video. Reverend, if you could behave, like, please don't do all that yelling out. Okay.
And the reason why I built my case from the First Church of Deliverance is because that is exactly how First Church of Deliverance became so strong. Number one, Reverend Cobbs and First Church of Deliverance got strong with politics. I believe Reverend Cobbs at the time was a Republican. People needed the black vote, and they cared not so much about his sexuality, but do you have people and can you deliver people to us? And can your choir sing good? So if you can deliver that, we will not acknowledge your sexuality. This is also true with blacks in the church when it comes to the music ministry. If somebody can play the organ good, you can direct the choir good. Reverend James Cleveland, who cares about what you're doing? Allegedly, Reverend Charles Nix, great organist out of the Detroit area. He died of congestive heart failure, which was really, really odd in the 1980s as a 47-year-old man to die of that. But you're surrounded by all these gays in the church. It's very easy to believe or suspect that he also died of AIDS, which is what James Cleveland died of, congestive heart failure related to HIV and AIDS. And as long as you can produce and you don't come out and say that you are a homosexual, we'll allow you to keep doing whatever you're doing. The problem is, though, is that institutionally they get stronger, and then the open secret, don't ask, don't tell becomes obvious. And then the framework in the academic institutions of the black church and all of that changes. Now people are upset, but this is the problem. Sweeping things underneath the rug. Didn't call it out. It's the same thing with single motherhood. Same thing with the Pookies and Ray Rays. You don't call these things out. You got some of the young black men doing the wrong thing. People encourage it. Then it comes back eventually to bite you in the ass. Now you're tired of it. Now you're upset. Well, we have kind of created this monster here in the black community under many situations that we don't like now. And now you don't like what's happening in the end, which is where your black men are too effeminate, or your black women are too masculine, or your black men and women don't want to marry each other. Well, all of this could have been solved in a long time ago. Okay. But you didn't want to call it out. And then what you don't want to call out, you think is going to stay in the closet. No, the closet want to come out. All right. People want to do things in the open. People get more bold and bold as time goes on. And this is the case here. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy LCD Jackson back.
That was a very interesting take on things. But there was also this that I found very, when I saw this, I said, what in the world? Check this out.
I just want you to know, honey, you are my hero. And I couldn't think of any other way I would want my life to be than the way it is right now with you. I love you, honey. Happy birthday.
Listen. I think that, is this the one that got indoctrinated into the thing? But there's some honor about Morehouse College. But this is what's happening in our institutions, guys. You have this guy calling his husband honey and everything like this, and that's a normal thing. It's acceptable now. What are we doing here? What is happening? See this? What's happening?
Oh, man! That's a disgrace! If you graduate from Morehouse, don't get mad with me. Get mad with Morehouse. Right, Morehouse. Tell them. Take that portrait down. Man married to a man.
This is his church who we're covering today. So during his birthday celebration, the boy preached, and he's preaching on Simon of Cyrene. Why does food turn this into a gay sermon? Let's jump into it.
Let's receive the first gentleman of this church. First gentleman,
Child, what? Let's receive the first gentleman of the church? Like, what? Like, man, you know what? Listen, I didn't know that this was going this way. I'm seeing this for the first time with you guys. You're seeing my reaction in full. What the fuck is it? Like, I didn't even know that this was even gonna be I didn't even know this myself. I just found the clips about what was going on in Morehouse and did not see this beforehand. So you're getting my live reaction. Let's go.
Rashad Burgess.
I ain't never in my life heard of a first gentleman until I seen this church.
I am.
Well, we see who the wife is.
Come on, child. What is going on in the church? I didn't know this was going on, guys. Is this really happening in the church today? Like, I haven't been to church in a while. So, what in the hell is going on at the church? Like, what? Like, what? I haven't been to church so long that I'm back. I am like, what? Like, this guy? Oh man, they got the music going and everything. Jesus Christ!
Oh my, man, Lord!
I'm always so moved when I think about all that God does with my husband and how God uses him. And it's interesting that he
not the camera pan to the husband. Oh Lord, this is crazy.
May I speak?
That is crazy. What in the world? So now you gotta, in your mind, just picture them getting it in. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like in my mind, like, oh my God, like look, oh man. Go ahead, Reverend. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Yes, thank you, DJ Genesis. Everybody, this is the man in the high castle, Reverend Green.
Ciao.
And as I speak, I want those to hear me. Who those who want to block me out. But proud Americans, there are a couple ways that this can be remedied. And I believe we're going to go towards this as a American people very shortly in the very near future. Rescinding Loving versus Virginia verdict, that whole decision. And I'm not speaking just on behalf of this interracial stuff. The interracial swirling movement had now been attached with a paper clip. Almost looked like it as an email when I say paper clip and attachment. The Loving versus Virginia case was paper clipped and attached with LGBTQ. And this is where the whole marriages of LGBTQ, same sex, it attached itself to interracial marriages, which was passed through Loving versus Virginia. If this could be rescinded, this is how come when people have other than a spiritual marriage and they're getting married through the church and state, the church and state have now made marriages jokes because you have these same-sex couplings that are now getting the benefits of a true organic marriage. And I know that this administration is looking into things such as that. So don't be surprised, proud Americans, what happens next. And this is also wrapped in the insurance. How do these same-sex couples get insurance policies, life insurance policies, and tax benefits from the security of what holy matrimony was supposed to be? We've gone too far with this identity politics, this Marxist intersectionality. When you go to these so-called black churches, because there should never be a black church, it should just be churches. They're teaching at these so-called black churches social justice theology. And this is a no-no. I pause and hallelujah, amen.
I wanted to ask Zion before he left, as far as like biblical doctrine about what. Hold on, let me get him to come back up because I wanted because he knows the Bible in and out. Hold on, let me just see if I can get it back. Because I don't think this is in the Bible. Like what's happening here is insane. Like, let me
What does it have to be in the Bible about? It's about science.
In so many
and
ways, he had
biology.
that near-death experience. Honey, I was looking, and we watch a lot of National Geographic. It's very kid-friendly. And I was watching an episode about the Eagles, and it made me think of you and the way in which you are soaring after being kicked out of the nest with COVID. I think about how that was such a new chapter, and the way in which you are soaring, it gives me such inspiration. And I feel like I am a better version, and we are all a better version because of what you are doing and the way in which you are letting God use you.
That's diabolical.
And what many of you don't know is that in this season, he's been really navigating a lot. He's been navigating a lot in terms of health. He shared some of it with the church. In terms of with his dad, I just want you to know, honey, you are my hero.
Oh my God.
I get such inspiration from you. I get such, it's so
Man, what the hell? What is going on? Let me say this, and I can guarantee you, if I were to look into the audience, you'll see a bunch of women. That is where the problem is. I'm not gonna listen. I get it. You could be a mother and your child could be gay, and
You could be a mother and have a child, and you could be a gay mother and have a child as well. You could be a gay man and have a child as well too.
Here's the thing: is that but the thing is that we're not talking about politics.
No, I'm speaking about the truth. You could be. You don't. It's.
Why are you interrupting me? I wasn't done talking. Stop. What I'm talking
You
about.
asked me to come up here, DJ Genesis.
Just because I asked you to come up here does not mean you interrupt me.
And then you allow people to throw sexual perversions on people.
What are you talking
I've already said this already. You don't hear me saying this to no woman or a man. Oh, go suck my thing. But you keep allowing this stuff. So what is what?
Reverend Green, listen, here's the thing. You actually got into him because he brought up his own facts and went on.
No, he asked me to do.
No, he didn't ask you to. No, listen,
I've already told you about that.
No, what you did is that when he began to speak about what he was talking about, you attacked him first, and then he said what he said. So if you don't want,
so that's not a violation.
No, first of all, why did you come at him, sir? Now you're changing my conversation we're having into a personal and making it about you. What I'm trying to explain is that
no panelists should have anyone.
Listen, don't interrupt me, bro. Stop.
Fuck you, cunt. Fuck you, you fat cunt.
Your mother's a fat cunt.
Your mother.
Everybody's your whole bloodline is a fat cunt. Now you're kicked from the studio, bitch ass nigga. The fuck is wrong with you? You don't even know how to have a conversation without being an asshole and ridiculous.
I told you that. I thought we had already cleared that up a while back.
I thought that he'd be able to come up and have decorum.
No. He's a bot. He's a bot. He's a fucking bot. How do you fucking talk all about this administration? Give me them files, nigga. Where them Epstein files at? Fucking idiot.
Yeah, no, he
wants that. Let's talk about the homos. Let's talk about this man head in fucking goddamn Bill Clinton's nuts. But you got something to say. Freaking goddamn coon-tastic.
Right. So let's get back into the subject because this is what the point is. Because I want to understand. Okay, how can a person of the Bible? How can this be happening in the church? What is the breakdown in the church where this can even go on and then people be cheering for it? And I say it is with the women. I'm sorry. The majority of Black women are the ones that be in the church, run the church, and everything. And we are clapping for this to be the norm. Imagine how many, if you have your grandson coming to the church with you, you know, grandmas be like, oh, encourage our daughters to like I'll just take the kids to the church. And this bullshit is going on. What are we doing? This guy up here praising his
father used to rebuke that heavy. You know what I'm saying? It was this one time there was this they had brought this choir director dude over, and you know what I'm saying, he was extremely effeminate, you know what I'm saying, and my grandfather didn't care for him because he felt like he had a homosexual spirit on him. So the guy hung around for maybe about a year in the choir and stuff, and granddad, you know what I'm saying, would drill. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather was notorious for preaching about folks in the church, you know what I'm saying, who were in attendance on the pulpit, you know what I'm saying? In the middle of his sermon, he's gonna call you out, you know what I'm saying? And so there's one Sunday, my grandfather, you know what I'm saying, started going in on homosexuality and gays, and he wasn't pulling no punches. I mean, he used the F-bomb quite a few times. My grandfather doesn't cuss, but he used that other F-bomb, you know what I'm saying? And so the dude, you know what I'm saying, left the church or whatever, thank God. But you know, my grandfather didn't stand for that, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know what I'm saying, we go to other churches or whatever, you know what I'm saying, other functions, and we start, you know, you would see it, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like the guy said, you know what I'm saying, when somebody had a music ministry or something that could aid the church, you know what I'm saying, if they could play organ, they could sing, or they could lead a choir, and they you know what I'm saying, a lot of the churches would let it slide, you know what I'm saying, and just, you know what I'm saying, like brush it under the rug, you know what I'm saying, and it, to a degree, you know, the church is a place for sinners to go to gain salvation and you know, be cleansed from their sins. And so, you know, my grandfather, though he was very, very adamant, you know, with his speech against homosexuality, he did not immediately, you know what I'm saying, remove folks until he saw that there was no intention, or there was no desire to be free of that. You know what I'm saying? So if you weren't there to gain salvation, like, because my grandfather believed you could be saved, even if you know what I'm saying, even if you were slipping and sliding, you know what I'm saying, doing some things that, you know what I'm saying, that most men would not do, you know what I'm saying, he had a heart at least to say, you know, well, they're here to get saved, you know what I'm saying, and there was a time limit.
You got like about this amount of time to go ahead.
There was a time limit. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't gonna have that going on in his church for too long. You're gonna fix your face, and you're gonna you know what I'm saying? You're gonna put some bass in your voice up in here.
Right. So you have this pastor of a church, and he is giving reference to his first man or first husband or whatever you want to call it. What is that? Could you imagine, like, all the women in the audience, and this is a good-looking black man. They probably like are attracted to him, and he's over here giving reference to another dude about like. So you're like in your mind be like kind of processing like their love, you know. I don't know, like what they're doing, like sodomy and all kind of wild stuff. All that stuff is against the Bible. Can you like? I just want to do this. I'm gonna play a little more of this. Please bring up some verses so we understand exactly. Because I'm not a Christian. I don't know what.
Well, there's the scripture concerning men laying down with men, or men dressing as women. I'm
gonna play a little more of this. Go ahead and bring it up, and then when
I get rejuvenation from watching the way in which you persevere, and the way in which you are able to flex from having an elders and leaders call to making sure that Kaylee picked up the clothes in the closet.
They have a daughter, so that means somebody hooked up with a woman to have a child, and now they're raising a child themselves.
You are so dear to my heart. And I love you so much. I love you so much. And I couldn't think of any other way I would want my life to be than the way it is right now with you. I love you, honey. Happy birthday.
He's going against Old and New Testament.
Bro, can you imagine the men in the audience? How do you clap? How do you
know. But
like,
I mean, if they're underneath a pastor like that, they themselves are probably freaking daggone having, you know what I'm saying, their own positions on their own sexuality. There's no way you're going to be a man underneath the leadership of a gay man. And not, you know what I'm saying, and not have, you know what I'm saying, like this.
I heard some male voices in the audience, like, yeah,
I'm sure there was some male voices in there if they were clapping, you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't, there's no way I would not have been in that church. But you got Leviticus 18:22, right? You shall not lie with male or as with a female. It is an abomination. Leviticus 20 verses 13. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them are committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. Jude 1-7. Just as Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding cities, which likewise indulged in sexual immorality and pursued unnatural desire, served as an example by undergoing a punishment of eternal fire. Romans chapter 1 verse 26-28. For this reason, God gave them up to dishonorable passions, for their women exchanged natural affections for those that were contrary. So this is when, it doesn't say anything about lesbians. Yes, it does. Exchanged natural relations for those that are contrary to nature. And the men likewise gave up natural relations with women and were consumed with passion for one another, for another man, committing shameless acts with men and receiving in themselves the due penalty for their error. And since they did not see fit to acknowledge God, God gave them up to a debased mind to do what ought not be done. Genesis 2 and verse 24. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, or cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Mark 10, that was Genesis. Mark 10, 6-9. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. Therefore, a male shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man separate. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 9-10. Or do you not know that the unrighteous will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived, neither sexually immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor men who practice homosexuality, nor thieves. I mean, how do you preach every Sunday with this book in your hand? Nor the greedy, nor the drunkards, nor the revilers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. 1 Timothy 1, verse 8-11. Now we know that the law is good, and for one, if one uses it lawfully, understanding this, that the law is not laid down for the just, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and sinners, for the unholy and profane, for those who strike their fathers and mothers, for murderers, for sexually immoral, men who practice homosexuality, enslavers, liars, perjurers, and wherever else is contrary to sound doctrine, in accordance with the gospel of the glory of the blessed God, which I have been entrusted. 1 Corinthians, I got two more. 1 Corinthians 7:2. But because of the temptation of sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman her own husband. And last one, 2 Corinthians 5, verse 17. Therefore, if any is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, and behold, the new. So yeah. Wait, hold on. Kings 15:12. He expelled the male shrine prostitutes in the land and got rid of all the idols and ancestors. So the Bible does not accept any form of deviation from the male and female relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so to be on that in that position of authority and holding that Bible and preaching from that Bible, you are literally skipping over verses and ignoring them and promoting sexual immorality to your church. You have profaned God. You blaspheming. Straight up blaspheming.
So what do you think is happening here? Do you think it's because of the acceptance of the and then the?
I can get prophetic about it, and the prophecy says that there will be a great falling away. You know what I'm saying, within the church, that there would these things would soon come to pass. The sexual immorality. There's a verse that says.
Do you think it is the females that are accepting of this because they are the mothers?
No, I don't think it's just the women. I don't think it's just women, or it's happening in the community on both sides, between men and women, right? So what was the perilous times?
Let me hear how the audience sounds. I want to hear if this is mostly women clapping for this bullshit. Let's go.
You people in church playing around with God like this, that's diabolical.
Sure is.
And the clapping, the going along with this is even more crazy.
Alrighty.
Mostly women.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to deal with this.
Can you imagine being out that thing with your wife and this is you're clapping for this? Like what? There's no way.
I wouldn't have went in there. There was no way I'm going in that church. Me and my wife would have never. If we would have walked in and caught a whiff, it's time to go. It's time to go. Oh, hell to the no-D.
You tell your wife, okay, man, listen.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, let's go to the Catholic church course.
I'm
joking. Like, anything is better than this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, god damn.
Too much.
What we doing
right
today?
now? I'm gonna show y'all what's gonna happen to people that support this and support sin. Period. Y'all know once saved, always saved. Don't fly over here.
Get over here!
Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Verse 21. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Look at verse 23. Which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. So these days, man, we see sin ain't just no practice. This stuff is celebrated, supported, pushed, broadcast, and all that, honored and everything.
Do you think the people clapping for this will also be punished in some way in like as far as when it
because they're underneath leadership that, you know, of course, you know what I'm saying, their leadership can affect their own, you know what I'm saying, if they're accepting of it. Well, you know, I mean, it's not for us to stone nobody nowadays, you know what I'm saying, and we are to try and, you know what I'm saying, be loving and not hateful towards people. I in no way condone, you know what I'm saying, being hateful towards people. However, I'm not. The Bible says that we fight not against flesh and blood, but spiritual spirits, principalities, and powers in high places. So it's not that we, you know what I'm saying, like for me, I can treat anybody, you know what I'm saying, like a human being and give somebody respect regardless of their sexual preferences, you know what I'm saying, as a human being. However, you know what I'm saying, the moment you start batting your eyes at me, bruh, you're going to lose your face. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would also say that I think that this is a danger in the Christian.
Right. Let me read this one scripture here, 2 Timothy real quick. And I won't do the whole thing. I think it's like 13 verses, but I'm not going to do the whole thing. But it says, and because from a prophetic, you asked, you know, why is this stuff happening? The Bible prophesies these things are going to happen as well. You know what I'm saying? So if you're asking from a biblical perspective, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I can come from a, you know, socio-political perspective, but from a biblical perspective, 2 Timothy 3, verse 1 through 13, I won't read the whole thing, but it says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boastful, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful and unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, false accusers like that dude that just got freaking goddamn you put off. Incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. How do you like freaking a dude who freaking daggone was touching little girls and sitting over there acting like you godly? Bro, you're a blasphemer too. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, and from such turn away. For these are the sort that are they which creep into household and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. All right, so I'll stop.
Wait, hold on. Let's go into that. That they would leave a woman with diverse lust. So that means a man coming into a woman, having sex with her, but then leaving her to like kind of lust after him, and he's not really planning on.
He's not there. Yeah, that's diverse. Yep, that's also that what that also represents.
So that's where Alexis K. Tyler talked about that whole thing about that this woman's kind of a dog kind of man, and then the woman is that's where she gets.
And he basically finessed her or played, player. That's exactly, to creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sin, led away with diverse lusts. They become laden with sin because they're laying with men who really have no intention of marrying them, no intention of keeping them sacred. See, your body is sacred. A woman's, yoni is sacred, very sacred. This is, it's not for everybody. You ain't supposed to get at her for everybody. In the same way with men.
You don't have any belief,
right?
Same with men. Any belief or anything holding you accountable, then you can just do this and
you can just do whatever, right? You can do whatever, but they don't realize that it does have a effect on you psychologically and biologically. You know what I'm saying? When you're sleeping with multiple people, you know what I mean? Men too, it still has a negative effect. A lot of men who are lustful and who are always chasing after women, there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you're not trying to get married and you can't be faithful to one woman, you're chasing something that there's a psychological disconnect.
It's like a drug. You're chasing it like a high.
Yeah.
And I would say that so if you're into Kudat like a drug, you're looking for oxytocin, you're looking for cortisol, whatever it be, and oxytocin to kick in, and that love hormone to kick in, and then that dopamine, serotonin to kick in that moment, and then when it's over with, then you're looking for the next high after you come down.
And for some men, I think that who are, promiscuous and always, chasing women after women, think that every woman that they see, they got to holler at. Any freaking woman that walks past them, they got to look at their booty and look at their breath. Dudes like that are having an issue, have mommy issues. You know what I'm saying? Like they really freaking either hate women or they're yearning for something that their mothers never gave them.
So what do you think of that is going on with the gay thing? Do you think that this is like because one thing I do know, and because I used to be what they would call a fag hag, right? Mm-hmm. I used to be around a lot of gay men,
Right. Well, you was in the house scene. You was in the house.
Yeah,
scene. That's what happened. You can't get away from it over there.
When you help people, you house scene, house music all night long, techno.
It wasn't like that in the beginning. It wasn't super gay in the beginning, but then it got real gay.
What I found out, let me tell you this. See, because I want to just talk about the gay scene altogether, right? There is a certain level of trickery, like tricking. A lot of gay men will trick on the younger gay men. Like that means spending money to sleep with them. So it's almost like a prostitution level of type of stuff that's going on with this thing. Drugs are involved. So to me, when I see a couple, like, okay, they're trying to make it godly, like, oh, like we're in a normal household and we just doing this and that and da da. I'm like, but where'd you meet him at?
Right. A parking ride.
I'm saying, like, how did y'all even get together? You know what I'm saying? Because, when I think about the gay scene, I think about drugs, I think about methamphetamines, I think about what they call poppers, all type of wild stuff come into my mind. Did you meet him on Grindr? How did you meet this guy that you're so in love with right now? Grinding.
Talking about it, they met him in the church. Met him in the choir. Either parking lot or the choir.
Do you know there's an app where you can it'll like tell you the person within a vicinity called Grinder. Because I was around gay men, they get on this app called Grinder, and then this app will tell them who was gay in their area or who was around them, and then they'd be able to go into a bathroom and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don't fool around. Go to like the workout club. Go to the gym. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in gyms. They got certain areas they meet up at. Where'd you meet?
I used to work. I worked in fitness for a long time, B, and I used to get really upset. You know what I'm saying? Because like after you're, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know where. Honestly, I think a lot of it does start with the American culture, not just the church, or you know what I'm saying. In sports, you know what I'm saying? Men, I never really cared for gym. That's why when I went to school, I didn't play basketball or football or anything like that. These dudes are walking around each other butt naked and shit in the fucking locker room. That shit is just disgusting to me.
Doing little stuff, hitting each other on the behind and doing
each other on the butt. You know what I'm saying? They think that it's just, you know, oh no, it's, you know, it's innocent. You know what I'm saying? American culture. No, that shit is fucking faggot. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's gay.
Yeah.
It's gay. It's gay. And I don't like it. So I said like my son used to say when he was a baby, I don't like it. So he's like, no, I don't like
playing basketball, dunking on somebody, put your balls on their head. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, like I'm not with all of that. So you know what I'm saying?
They were like Coach Johnson, all type of weird stuff. So yeah, like
yeah. So I think that it definitely has its root within the American culture. I mean, you got to remember a lot of the cats that were coming into this country from Europe, you know what I'm saying, were doing crazy things that, you know what I'm saying, even in slavery, you had buck breaking and stuff. You had them, the things that the atrocities and the sexual violence. Yo, there is a search. So most people, and I've been studying a little Sigmund Freud and stuff lately. Because I have another presentation I've been working on that's been taking me a long time because it's so freaking daggone detailed. But anyway, Sigmund Freud talked about, you know, your psychology and things that you say can oftentimes show, you know what I'm saying, it's like called a Freudian slip. Like it shows your thoughts. So when they engage in certain communication and say certain things, you know what I'm saying, you know, you can read off of that, right? So with the psychology thing, if you looked at like the old, you know, the Europeans who came across, even now, people in power, they desire the forbidden fruits, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? They're rich, so they feel that they can, you know what I'm saying, go to some foreign country and touch a little girl, you know what I'm saying, or touch a little boy anyway. They desire things that most people could not afford to do or get away with because they don't have the legal protections to get away with stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would say that this culture, you know what I'm saying, it definitely came in through the colonizers.
And we were talking about the Catholic Church and all their weird affiliation.
Oh, that goes back to Ganymede. That goes back to the worship of Ganymede.
And so here's the thing. So we're seeing in the Catholic Church that we had that whole affiliate with the kids, little boys, all that little like people that was like bringing the candles in and all that little altar boy stuff. Right. And we were making fun of them, but look at what we got going on here. You know what I'm saying? What is going on?
Right. You got the nerve.
And now you had the Catholic Church. Then you had the what was the other church that kind of went down about that? Like, but bottom line is that we're being brought to the fire. Even our own churches.
Right.
What's happening? Let's be real about it.
Right. What you defend now and supporting now and agree with now, you're gonna be judged for it later now. Mm-hmm. You can't claim God and support sin. All right, let's get on to this stupid sermon that this boy preached.
Let's stand for the word of God. Go to the gospel according to St. Mark. The gospel according to St. Mark. The time is far spent. I just want to read one verse. And if you'll trust me, we'll get through the rest. St. Mark chapter 15, verse 21. When you have it, say, I have it. I'm going to read from the New Revised Standard Version. It reads on this wise.
Hold on. Before he gets into this, is there a reason why he wants to go to the New Revised Version? I don't know. It's something to see.
Yeah, he don't want to touch that 1611.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he got to go to the New
He don't want to touch that one. He want to touch that. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to touch that original KJV.
Guys, I'm not a Christian, but I grew up as a Christian. I spent the first, I would say, 30 years of my life as a Christian. And then I got into E5. And I still read the Bible. I still I still, you know what I'm saying? Just because I chose another path does not mean that I completely condemn Christianity, because I believe that there's some good things within Christianity that people need to hold forward. But the thing is that the church itself is becoming demonic. I'm sorry. Let's go.
I saw it happen in the Nephi too, though, when I was young.
Oh, it does. We'll get into it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, my father.
Let me tell you, I've been my latest shows. If you haven't seen them, Baba, even though he's a white Baba Lawo, he's been the one talking about all the inconsistency within EFA, using EFA to help drug dealers, and that there's a lot of gangsterism in EFA where people are using it to stop themselves from getting so there is things in EFA too. Also,
right.
So
maybe there's gonna be human beings. There's gonna be some kind of freaking daggone nut baskets. Yeah, there's gonna be some crap. There's gonna be some crap. You can't get away from it.
So, the word itself is clear. What it's meant to do, but the thing is that humans, we pervert the word of God. We do it in Islam, Christianity, Ifa, Buddhism, everything, because people want to be they want to satisfy their own flesh, their fleshly desires. And let's go. Here we go.
The Roman soldiers compelled a passerby who was coming in from the country to carry Jesus's cross. It was Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. They compelled the passerby who was coming in from the country. Somebody say the country. To carry Jesus's cross. It was Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. For the time that is allotted to me this afternoon, I want to preach from the topic made for the moment. Tell your neighbor, you are made for the moment. But if I were to put a second tag on this text, since we're acknowledging Bishop's birthday, it would be, what a man, what a man. What a mighty good man.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
What?
Wait, what did he just say? I was trying to read something.
Let me go back. What?
What the hell did he just say?
Man, what? Hold on, because he went to Mark. He said some. Let's hear the thing. So maybe I'm tripping. Hold on.
Is far spent. I just want to read one verse. And if you'll trust me, we'll get through the rest. St. Mark chapter 15, verse 21. When you have it, say, I have it. I'm going to read from the New Revised Standard Version. It reads on this wise. The Roman soldiers compelled a passerby who was coming in from the country to carry Jesus's cross. It was Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. They compelled the passerby who was coming in from the country. Somebody say the country. To carry Jesus's cross. It was Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. For the time that is allotted to me this afternoon, I want to preach from the topic made for the moment. Tell your neighbor, you are made for the moment. But if I were to put a second tag on this text, since we're acknowledging Bishop's birthday, it would be what a man, what a man. What a mighty good man.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Oh, you're so stupid.
You are here for a purpose. And I need you to know that God poured too much intentionality into you for you to start doubting yourself. Your very existence is a miracle. Jamar's Instagram. If it took two parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, 32 great-great-great-great-grandparents, and through generations and generations for the right sperm to meet the right egg at the right time just for you to have your gluteus maximus sitting in that pew this morning. And then you're going to fool around and let the devil play you like a cheap street walker and make you think that you don't matter. Child, you better quit tripping and doubting yourself and wasting time. Don't let the works of the devil trick your mind into thinking that you are insignificant. Don't think yourself out of yourself.
You see, the meat gospel, even they do it. This is how the church preaches now.
Yes.
I don't know the day or the hour, but I believe that there's a moment coming with your name on it.
What is the me gospel?
Okay, so basically, church pastors have gotten locked into preaching feel good messages. To if you're in front of the audience, everybody's going through something. Everybody's struggling with something, especially in the Black church, finances, whatever. There's always a preaching to a person's personal identity and a blessing to come. You know what I'm saying? Here you're what they call storm chasers, are preachers who preach about the storm. You're going through something, and whatever it is that you're going through right now, I'll let you know right now. With you right now are going through that storm, and you are going to see a blessing if you stand on your word. You stand on God. You're going to see. And when you
no matter what you do,
when you
got your booty in it,
and when you put that tithe offering in, I just want you to know all of that, all day, every day, and it's tiresome. That's why I became a roster.
Listen, he speaks of generations, but wouldn't be no butts in his seat.
Hold on, were there no gay people that made none of them?
He said no sword fights, man. No sword fights, guys.
What part of all of them grandparents and great grandparents did you see anybody talk about something that was unnatural?
Child,
he just cut himself.
He's fixing to pull something. He's fixing to pull the explanation about his ass that I think.
What a man, what a mighty good man. Are you kidding me?
I have never seen this video before, but let's go.
Yeah, it's called death.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Better repent, boy. The whole church.
A moment that will prove why you are here. A moment that will prove the doubters wrong. A moment that you were made for. And in today's scripture, we find a man named Simon of Cyrene who was made for the moment to carry the cross of Christ. Be seated for a moment. Let me run through this text. At this pivotal point in our focal scripture, Jesus is physically and emotionally drained from the brutal scourging that was to be his crucifixion. And now, as as he's walking down the Via della Rosa, he can no longer bear the weight of the wooden beam on his back. And you must understand that this wasn't just any beam, it was solid wood, weighing up to 115 pounds. For somebody already stripped of strength, it was almost unbearable of a load to bear.
This is diabolical for you to even be up in the pulpit preaching about Christ carrying his cross, and you are an open homosexual.
Oh my God.
In an open homosexual church.
Wait,
this is crazy, nasty work.
What is that? So there's actual open homosexual churches? Man, listen, I have been so out of the church for so long. I don't even know there's a such thing as an open homosexual church. Like, I have been, where have I been? There is a such thing as an open homosexual church? Child, let's go.
Recognizing that Jesus was struggling, the Roman soldiers, the Bible says, compelled
Tyler Perry,
a man passing by, coming into Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover. He was a North African named Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. They compelled him to carry the cross. This brown-skinned man, a bystander in the crowd, who is mentioned only once throughout this entire narrative. He has no backstory. There is no curriculum vitae to explain why he is here. When we meet him in this fleeting moment in history, he is unknown. Somebody say unknown. Simon.
Child, are they gonna say that he's like a gay dude? Because that's what is he fixing to go there? Like, what in the hell is he? Where is he going with
I don't know where he's going.
Man, let's see. Come on.
Going straight to hell. My grandfather, he's going straight to hell.
Was unknown to the world before this moment. We don't know much about him, but in one verse, the unknown becomes the main character, and the nobody becomes a somebody. Beloved, don't ever underestimate being unknown, because you have to be unknown to be discovered. I wish I had a witness this morning.
Horrible.
Being unknown isn't.
What the hell?
I guess if you put extra emphasis on the words that you're saying, then that means that you're saying something.
What are you talking
about? Dude. the sheer pomposity. The sheer. This is what I didn't like about the church. I didn't like it. I was like, yo, it's so funny. Like anybody can get up there and put on a show, and
you can talk like this.
As long as they have that preacher cadence, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna shout and huck a buck. Meanwhile, he just came from a brothel last night.
This guy had his back pounded out the night before.
You know what I'm saying?
he went to a sex party like a damn.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what that man was doing last night.
What Jesus said.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, B, I used to, one of the things too, a lot of the preachers in the Church of God in Christ were pimps. Like they were very pimpish. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of adultery, these guys would take folks' wives, or you know what I'm saying, or what have you, and women from the church after the church service, or after they had a revival, you know what I'm saying, and they would take them out to eat at the diner. We going to the diner, you know what that, you know what?
All you can eat diner.
You go to the diner, and then after they go to the diner, they go to the Motel 6.
Child, see,
to the motel.
You know what? That is the beginning, because a guy that is insatiable for punani, there's something that's missing. They're like, okay, they're just trying to, you know what I'm saying? That's when
Yeah,
they that, and then they start to like look for other things. Let's go.
Right.
Let me see if he lands his plane. Where's he going with it? Let me see if he gets
who I knew personally, Aaron Hall. Aaron Hall's from Guy. His brother is named Todd Hall. Todd Hall is still a mega church preacher to this day. And that Negro was a whole schmut bucket. He was laying up with everybody's wife. Okay, yeah, Holiday Inn. That's right, sis.
Holiday Inn.
That's right.
Down at the all you can eat. Then you can take your friend to the hotel. What you gonna do today? We gonna get it in, and then on Sunday we gonna pray. You know what I'm saying?
My choice. I was pressed into this. I didn't want this wood. I was chosen without consent. And I know the Bible doesn't say it. I know the Bible doesn't say it. They're going to accuse me of eisegesis on this.
So why would you say it then? Why are you even up there, sis?
But Dr. Simmons is in the room, so I can get away with it. I know the Bible doesn't say it, but you're not going to make me believe that this father of two boys did not wonder for a minute, why in the world am I doing this? Why must I be the one to bear this cross? Why have I hit rock bottom, embarrassed in the public streets? I came to Jerusalem just to worship, but got called to serve. I came to Vision to just be myself, but Bishop pushed me to do more. Have you ever been in?
So that means Bishop is a Roman soldier, because the Roman soldiers is the one who chose Simon of Cyrene.
Did Simon of Cyrene, you know the story about Simon of Cyrene? Did the Roman soldiers get to the end with him, or where was he going with this story?
No, I really don't know, because Simon carried the cross for a portion of the way. He carried the cross for a portion of the way. Cyrene, is Libya. You know what I'm saying? So everybody says, this man was a black man. You know what I'm saying? So that's the majority of the story that I know, about Simon of Cyrene, was that he carried Christ's cross, and it was a black man. You know what I'm saying? From Libya.
Let me see if he gives more. Maybe I'm gonna go back a little bit, because I skipped a lot, because I'm all that bullshit. And I don't
which is stepping outside of our comfort zone and challenging our assumptions and embracing the unexpected. I need you to understand that
a lot of garbage is being preached. I tell you that.
I'm Kojic.
That purpose pulls us toward the things we'd rather avoid. Not because they're easy, but because they're necessary. Purpose is not a destination, it's a responsibility. All I'm trying to tell you is that purpose is not what you ask for. It is simply God's will for your life. Come here, Simon. Come here. I can hear Simon saying, I didn't plan on doing all this today. This wasn't on my schedule. This ain't even my cross. I didn't want all of this. It may be my calling, but it ain't my choice. I was pressed into this. I didn't want this wood. I was chosen without consent. And I know the Bible doesn't say it. I know the Bible doesn't say it. They're going to accuse me of eisegesis on this.
So why would you say it then? Why are you even up there, sis?
But Dr. Simmons is in the room, so I can get away with it. I know the Bible doesn't say it, but you.
He said, why are you even up there, sis?
What the hell are you talking about, bro? Let me see if he gets to the point. I'm sorry, my attention span.
You were asking, where did this burden come from?
Listen, this is when you know you're going too long. When people start getting up there and just standing up there and just weaving back and forth. This guy comes. This is the guy that lets him know his time's almost up.
This responsibility was not on my schedule. I did not volunteer for this. You look around and thought to yourself, how in the world did I get myself tied up in all of this?
Wait.
That's what I want to know.
This is not what I...
Pause. So what is he trying to say? Is he saying that he was not chosen to carry wood?
What?
He wasn't chosen to carry wood.
What the hell? Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know which way he going. I'm trying to find the Freudian slip.
Signed up for. This was not part of the plan. I did not ask to be LGBTQIAP plus and out. I did not ask to be HIV positive.
He's HIV.
He is talking about the wood in that way, y'all.
Oh my God! So he is.
So he's saying so his cross,
and he is HIV positive. So what? I didn't want the wood. I just picked up the wood and carried it. Jesus had the wood and I picked it up after that.
Where you gonna put it down, bro?
Like, put the wood down. That's what the problem is. We got too much wood going on.
Oh no, man. There's always some underlying freaking daggone homosexual connotation hidden somewhere. You got to be careful.
I didn't want this wood. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for the wood. The wood is in my booty and it gave me HIV.
Oh man! But he gonna carry that wood. He gonna carry it.
he went to all the different LGBTQIA XYZ elementary.
So we just having a whole homosexual sermon hidden under the guy. He missed the other scripture in Mark. Wasn't it in Mark that I read? he skipped over that.
What is happening, bro?
I did not ask to do sex work just to afford my transition. I did not ask to be black in a world that treats my skin like a crime.
You didn't ask for it, but you do have the ability to choose. You know what I mean?
I did not ask to grow up in a dysfunctional family. I did not ask to have to hide my truth just to survive. I didn't ask to have to feel unsafe walking the streets. I didn't ask to live paycheck to paycheck. I didn't ask for this marriage to fall apart, for my family drama to chase me into my relationship. I didn't ask to be betrayed by people, to have this disability, to be depressed and anxious, to navigate grief, to be touched inappropriately in church and sexually harassed. I didn't ask to be a single parent or to be 65 raising my parents. I didn't ask to carry this.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Lord have mercy.
This is crazy. He got a pink turd.
You know what?
Battles on you funny, bro.
You don't choose your sexuality?
Ooh, this is hilarious. It's sad though. It really is, because you know what I'm saying, this man got up there with conviction to preach this sermon and it ain't nothing good about it.
He prostituted, he got HIV. Maybe he's just saying different things. I don't know. Like, I don't know
He's not. I know he's definitely not. What is he? 65?
Yeah, so he's just saying like different scenarios.
I think he's just different scenarios.
I didn't ask to be, taken there.
I didn't ask to be, appropriately touched. He said ass. No, he said I didn't ask to be. Freudian slips everywhere.
It's cross
wood
and it's heavy.
I bet it is, boy. I bet it is. Because
I'm done. So he's trying to make the cross of Jesus the cross of the LGBT. That's the
sis said to run it back. She said to run it back.
He said he didn't ask all these different things, and now he's saying it's like Simon or whatever the guy was that had the cross of Jesus.
Carry his cross. He carried it.
So now he's saying that this is the cross.
HIV is his cross. HIV is his cross.
Yeah.
Have to hide my truth just to survive. I didn't ask to have to feel unsafe walking the streets. I didn't ask to live paycheck to paycheck. I didn't ask for this marriage to fall apart, for my family drama to chase me into my relationship. I didn't ask to be betrayed by people, to have this disability, to be depressed and anxious, to navigate grief, to be touched inappropriately in church and sexually harassed. I didn't ask to be a single parent parent or to be 65 raising my parents. I didn't ask to carry this cross, and it's heavy.
I bet it is, boy. I bet it is. Because you chose the wrong thing.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
You chose the wrong wood, my boy. You gotta put the one wood down and pick the other one up. You feel me?
Wait. The Bible, stop. The Bible said when you that his burden is light. Wait, hold on. Christ said that his burden is light. Huh? So what cross are you carrying?
Right. The burden is light. Right. So, but everything he talking about some heavy.
His burden was heavy, but the Bible said, Jesus said, you know what I'm saying, to pick up his cross, you know what I'm saying, his burden was light. It's light.
Wow.
So you talking about, so you carrying the wrong cross, Negro?
Sometimes life will make you ask, why me? Why am I carrying this cross? It ain't even mine. I didn't do nothing to get myself here. This is heavy.
Oh my God. So when Simon picked up Jesus' cross, did he say it was heavy?
Well, I'm sure that burden was heavy. But when Christ was speaking about the burden to pick up, it was the faith in Christ and doing the things that, you know what I'm saying, that he said to do. Not talking about the physical cross when he was speaking on that. He said his burden is light. That's faith, that's love, that's faithfulness, that's honesty, that's loyalty, that, you know what I'm saying, all of those gifts of the Spirit. That's what he was speaking of. If you're going to be follow Christ, then you're going to follow his instruction. That's picking up his cross.
And therefore, your burden will be light because you have given over your burdens to Christ.
Yeah, you're not carrying the wood.
Right.
You ain't Simon and Serene, bro. You know, and I'm sure Simon and Serene ain't had no broken wrist and switch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hella immature as a Christian. We are not the judge. That's God's job. Don't miss heaven and go to hell trying to send someone else there. First of all, I'm not a Christian.
I ain't got to send nobody. I'm just going to tell you what the Bible said.
See, here's the thing is that, you know, that's the thing.
An abomination is something that you can't, you know what I'm saying? You're not getting away with.
First of all, aren't you a Hebrew Israelite and a Rastafarian?
Yes, I'm an Israelite. I'm a Rastafari Israelite.
Okay, so there we go. So that, you know, as a Christian, well,
But I was raised Kojic. I was raised.
Oh, yeah, I'm a priest of the old. I'm an Olorisha.
I was raised to be Kojic from my on my grandparents' side. My father was into the Ifa. You know what I'm saying? But right. I was raised and I was being groomed to be a preacher.
I was raised in the whole like Baptist, you know, and AME churches. So
right.
But I wasn't raised to. My mom allowed me to go to church.
Baptist churches, I think it's Baptist or Methodist, they preach out the hymnal. They don't preach out the Bible. They preach out of the hymnal. They preach out of the songs. You know what I'm saying? So their sermons will be about, you know what I'm saying, how great thou art, or his eye was on the sparrow, right? They preach out of the hymnal. They don't preach out of the Bible.
I didn't even know that. You told me something new I didn't even know. Because I do remember going to Baptist church. Yeah. I sing because I'm happy, you know, whatever.
And you can sit there and tell yourself that being LGBTQIAP+ is not a cross if you want to, because you hung over from pride, but you a lie.
First of all, he said LGBT.
It is not Christ's cross. No. Yeah.
He said LGBTQIT+.
I don't know.
P was in there. P, pedophile.
He put the P in as in pedophile.
Hold on.
Pedophile.
Hold on, back it up. He said to be LGBTQIEB. I don't even know what all these other shit. Enter. What are they doing? Okay. Lesbian, gay, trans, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LGBTQ, queer, I, intersexual.
What the hell is the intersexual?
I
What
don't
is
know.
that?
Listen, I'm just trying to like put it all together. He said LGBTQIAP something plus.
It ain't even mine. I didn't do nothing to get myself here. This is heavy. And you can sit there and tell yourself that being LGBTQIAP plus is not
LGBTQIAP plus. So IAP, intersexual, asexual, pedophilia, and then plus.
What else is after that? Like, what else can you do? Oh, animals,
dogs, and cats.
Bestiality? I don't know. Man, this is crazy.
Objects like cars and
furries and shit. You know what I'm saying? These niggas like having sex in daggone mascot suits.
Are you pumping on the earth of the soil? Like, what are you doing after that? Like, what else is doing?
Yeah, like what else are you gonna hunt, bro? What else are you gonna
the ground?
what else you gonna hunch, yo? What else you hunching, bro?
LGBTQIAP plus.
What is the plus, though?
What else is that? What else you can do? Like,
I don't even think you should put asexual in that because asexual. I guess you know.
Masturbating all the time, or
I have no idea, bro. What was this? I don't
but
know.
he did put the P. That is
He put
where.
the P in there. He put the P in there.
Yep.
Yes,
Hold
he did.
on. So
Yes, he
no. Like that's where you're getting weird, bro. Like what are we saying?
You got to put the one wood down and pick the other one up. You feel me?
Sometimes life will make you ask, why me?
You chose it.
Why am I carrying this cross? It ain't even mine. I didn't do nothing to get myself here. This is heavy. And you can sit there and tell yourself that being LGBTQIAP plus is not a cross if you want to, because you hung over from pride, but you a lie. It ain't easy to walk in our shoes. Come on, talk back to me. It ain't easy to be so fabulous that straight women are scared you're going to take their man, and men are scared you're going to take their woman because you actually know how to please one.
You know, it was reported.
What?
Wow,
This is a church sermon.
this is crazy.
The women are afraid that you're gonna take their men, and the men are afraid that you're gonna fuck they women.
He said you're so fabulous, though. So here he is promoting it.
What the hell?
There's no shame in saying it. You're so fabulous that you'll take another woman's man. That's the cross he's talking about. Being fabulous.
What the hell is going on here? I didn't know this existed, guys.
This is crazy.
I didn't know that sermons like this was being said. Please,
Yeah, this is in the rock, man. My mother would have rebuked me. My grandparents would have
you
rebuked
might
me.
be a gay man. I'm not trying to like come after the gay community. I didn't even know this existed. I'm reacting as I'm hearing, and I'm sorry, but what the fuck is going on here? First of all, I have a big problem with this being right here. First of all, P needs to. What the fuck is this? P. Pedophilia? And he says it so fast and quick. Well, LGBTQ, you don't even know what he's saying. Why is the LGBTQIAP and then plus? What's plus? Bestiality, everything against the Bible? I mean, what else are you going to do after that? Hunch cars? Hunch on like inanimate objects, like hunching on apple pies, like American Pie that day. That they had said. What else is there to do after the P? What else? You done had lesbian, gay, bi, transsexual, queer, intersexual, whatever the fuck that means. asexual, and P is pedophilia, and this guy is in a church speaking of this. Like, what are we doing here? Now, this is not about just only gay. He's talking about this entire phrase here, and the burden it carries to be attracted in this way to different things, different people, different things, different, like, kids, this, that, whoa, yourself, This is the issue. It's not about people trying to only come after gay, but he said LGBTQIA plus at the Episcopal United Progressive, whatever the fuck church they want to call themselves.
It ain't easy to be so fabulous that straight women are scared you're going to take their man, and men are scared you're going to take their woman because you actually know how to please one.
Oh my.
FBI, open up!
You know, it was reported to me. My Lord. It was reported to me.
These people are just so disrespectful, bro.
It's ridiculous. Okay? Here we go.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to the sister or the brother Prince. My grandfather used to say that all the time. I'm not saying that they don't use the Bible, you know what I'm saying, but a lot of Baptist preachers in the black church, a lot of their sermons were entitled by the hymn. The hymnal is very important to the Baptist church, and so a lot of their sermons were entitled with hymns, that the title of a hymn or the use of a hymn. Not saying that they didn't entirely, but my grandfather used to joke about it and say, "Oh, they just preach out of the hymnal." But you're right, yeah.
I'm just with the P. I'm like, there should be, like, how are you in church talking?
Yeah,
about
this, I guess the people with the P, they're so fabulous they can just snatch somebody's child and touch them the wrong way.
Right, and the other one know how to please them the right way. What kind of bullshit is that?
Craziness, man.
Oh, because we know how to please a woman. You don't even want a woman, so what would you please them for? The fuck are we talking about? It's crazy. Let's go.
Ridiculous.
Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Y'all way too quiet right now. This cross is heavy. Look at somebody next to you and tell them, this cross is heavy.
Because it ain't Christ's cross.
Why?
It's not Christ's cross. He left that scripture out.
Why would you have a cross of this and be like, oh, it's heavy? What? Like, this cross is heavy of being a pedophile, of being intersexual, of being asexual, of being queer, transsexual, bi, gay, and lesbian. This is a heavy cross to bear. This is, I didn't even.
Homophobia is real. Transphobia is real.
Man, listen, man. Now, I've been accused by people in my comments over the past couple of days about having homophobia and all that stuff, right? Or being allergic to these people. No, we just go by this. Y'all mad about this. All we doing is covering this with this. That's it. That's it. And we're showing how this has taken precedence over this. And people prefer this. Dangerous.
Racism is real.
And it's always about white versus black. This is what they do, bro.
And LGBT teenagers are still killing themselves in droves, and we drinking. This is a heavy cross, and we make it look cute, dressed to slay, but don't get.
Man, wait, she said abominations are real. Hell is real.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? What is real?
What yoke is he? Because Matthew 11, Matthew 11 verse 30 says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." What wood are you cross? What cross are you carrying?
But see, here's the thing: is that people don't even understand that homosexuality, an aspect of that, is sleeping with younger men. That's why you always find like older. Listen, I used to hang out with gay men, and there is a certain because what happens is once your family find out you're gay. Back in the day, you would get kicked out the house, right? And who would take care of those young kids that got kicked out the house? It would be older men. And you think they wasn't hooking up with them little teenagers that's like out on the streets in New York or whatever? They would. It was like getting into like prostitution. You know, a lot of like transgender when they decide they want to be transgender, they end up in prostitution. You know, and you can imagine a person that's 14, your mom gets mad or your father gets mad because you have decided to like transition. And you end up leaving the house, running away because you probably like back in our times, that shit was not cool. And parents were like, no, fuck that. And going again. So they run away from home. They would join gangs. There's a whole documentary about this gang in DC where that's where you get the house mother from. It was called, that's where you have all those House of Darion, House of this. It was because when the parents would find out they were gay, they would kick them out and they would join houses. And that's where you get the house movements, where they would join a house and then they would do these things called balls. And then you'd have like, oh, you're like this type of you're more feminine, you're more masculine. And then they'd have balls and like try to make money off the balls. But when they weren't making money off the balls, but the balls were like these competitions that they would have about who's more this or who's more that. And you have that tick tick tock, and they'd be doing the death drop and all that stuff. And now it's like a normal thing where you'll see like this type of she did fish whatever, and they would be dropping down and dancing and everything like this, where they do like little crab crawl dance and all that stuff.
Oh.
Dressed in a certain way.
Weird. Yeah.
Jay-Z's, I think Jay-Z's mom used to throw actual balls in New York. His mom is gay. His mom is is like 100% gay, married to a woman, and she used to throw balls in New York. The balls are where you have like the competitions amongst the gay
drag queens and stuff doing all
it's like, okay, you have like some like I would say like the gay female one, if they're very masculine, who wins this, who wins the prize. And so you have these different houses that would compete for winning the prizes, and the money would go into the house, because a lot of the kids back then, when they would get kicked out of their own family house, the gay house mother would take them in, and you become a part of the House of Darion, the house of such and such, the house of blah, the house of this. And it would be like probably a gay house mother that was probably a transgender, that was like the mother that would take care of all the gay boys. And then the gay boys were like in gangs where they would like fraud and like do fraud and like sell booty catch, booty cat on the streets, and would sell that and then come back to the house, put their money in, and that was a whole situation. And I there became a house mother, didn't even know it. I met the guy, like I was going through some stuff, met a guy, he was gay. He began like bring all his little gay people over to my house. And honey, and I said, listen, I have a daughter. You guys can't be laying up with each other on my floor and this, that. They would just go out on Grindr and go to the different things, come back with money. But I was like, but they're very prone to stealing and all type of stuff. Honey, they stole all type of shit from me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like the whole lifestyle is like kind of scamming, stealing, selling booty cat, you know what I'm saying? Booty cat, whatever they want to call it, booty, selling
Mangina.
selling mangina all over. So all this whole thing with this whole environment, what he's talking about, it's so much stuff to it. It's not like these people are like just having like, oh, I met you, we're gonna like get a house together, and I love you, and no, there's a whole lifestyle. That's what they call it, the lifestyle that goes with this. So for him to be up here preaching like this stuff is normal is not, because I've seen it with my own two eyes how young men get exploited, how young transgender men get exploited, how they be out here like selling booch cat, all that stuff. So it's not as cut and dry. They might be good because they got into the church and they're meeting their hubbies in the church and stuff like that. But when you get into the real underground aspect of it, it's very, very, a very sad situation. And then you have like the drug aspect of it too. There's a lot of drugs that are getting involved.
Right. I never saw a gay gangster until I stayed in Atlanta for a few months. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I was in Decatur. My auntie had lived out there. And I just, I had just got out there and I walked to the store, you know what I'm saying? Like, she showed me where the store was. It wasn't too far from our house. All I'd do is turn the corner and walk a couple of blocks and there was a store right there. So I go up to the store and it's like, it was like at night and there's like, niggas, like, yeah, I'm used to freaking thugs being at the corner, you know what I'm saying? I grew up around that. But these Negroes will have like halter tops and freaking belly buttons showing and that do-rags on. And I was like, nah. I know this ain't. Excuse me. No. Okay, I'm good.
In DC, you had 14th Street and you had 13th Street. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God. I was young. One time I went to DC and was at what was it? It was there was a march and I was in college at the time, right? And I really didn't know much about like the drag scene, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't that thick. Like, I mean, in New York City, yeah, if you go down to Soho or something like that, you know what I mean? You go and see that. But it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like in DC, it was so thick. I really didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? Like there was seemingly women looking, you know what I'm saying? Drag, people in drag that really look like women. And so, you know what I'm saying? I'm walking with my class, you know what I'm saying? We're going, you know what I'm saying, to this march or whatever. I forgot which march it was. And Dad going, when one of the people that walked up is a female who looked like a female, walked up and was like, where you guys going? I was like, oh yeah, we're going to this march, blah, blah, blah. I think it wasn't the family, it wasn't the Million Man March. It was one of them Million Family, Million Youth or something. Million Youth. But anyway, so we walked up and then the girl that I was talking to at the time, she was like, you might want to look at the Adams apple. And I looked, I was like, oh, damn. You know what I'm saying? Got me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was, you know what I'm saying, just, a regular girl. And it wasn't. You know what I mean? And I was like, that shit is so fucking goddamn weird. So uncomfortable.
Twisted. This cross is heavy as hell.
Yeah, we're done. My boy. Is it A, you're a son of Satan and on assignment from hell? Is it B, you're a son of Satan and on assignment from hell? Is it C, you're a son of Satan and on assignment from hell? Or is it D, all of the above? Self-denial is hard to preach when you're included in stuff like this. You can't really preach the cross of Christ, obedience to God's law, when you are living in open rebellion. Right. Simon ain't just carry wood like y'all out here doing. Simon had an encounter with Christ. The cross ain't no burden, bro. It's supposed to change you. Right. This story wasn't about us, and it ain't about us. The only thing that's about us is we taking up our cross spiritually and dying. the cross wasn't just something Jesus carried around or carried to Calvary. No, it's a lifestyle that he calls everybody into. You know, the one you all reject.
Okay. What's that brother's page? What is it? The Who channel? I can't see it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was talking.
Global Impact channel.
Yeah,
Okay.
Global Impact. Please support his channel.
Yeah, I'm going to support that brother. Definitely.
Yeah, you know, shouts out to him because anyone that's talking about LGBTQIA plus stuff, man, bump. I'm just at the peak. Like no. Why are you including that? He could have just said LGBTQIA, and I probably would. No, I'd still be like, "What are you talking about?" But I mean, when you put the P in there, you really like what? You're at the church about pedophilia, like really?
Right. And speaking on it, like it's a burden that one should carry for Christ. That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy. That's not the cross that Simon carried, bro. You know?
So let's get back into like the whole aspect of.
Now, you had asked me a question of why do I think some of this stuff is happening? Do I think that there are people who have been affected genetically? Yes.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I did not allow the hospital when my son was in the NIC unit. You know what I'm saying? My son was premature. Came out a whole month before he was his due date. You know what I'm saying? His due date was January 7th, 2013, but he was born December. It was 12th. January 12th was his due date, 2013, and he was born December 12th, December 7th. I'm sorry, 7th. It was 7th, 2012. So they wanted to give. Now his mom was going to breastfeed, but she was having a little problem in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? Because her first baby. So, which is common, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, they wanted to give him Infamil, and I refused. I said, no, this, you know what I'm saying? I said, listen, my son has a Jewish name. I said, I'm a Black Jew, you know what I'm saying? And we require, you know what I'm saying? We require, kosher, you know what I'm saying? And that's not kosher. You know what I'm saying? So the nutritionist for the NIC unit would happen to be Jewish. And so he had ordered some kosher breast milk fortifier and it's like a beef byproduct. And my son grew, you know what I'm saying, faster than anybody in NICU. They actually put him in the medical journal for how fast he grew. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't allow it because of the levels of soy, the levels of estrogen in those soy products are so high that they're higher than a woman's, breast milk. You know what I'm saying? And so, giving that to your male sons, I wouldn't even give it to my daughter. You know what I'm saying? When she was born, I wouldn't allow it. You know what I mean? But yeah, the estrogen levels way too high.
Breastfeed your children, breastfeed your kids, bro. Do not.
Yeah, just breastfeed. My baby mom was having a hard time. My son's mother was having this hard time breastfeeding. Not my daughter's mom, but my son's mom was at first.
Do it breastfeed because they throw anything in that stuff, all those hormones and stuff like this.
Yeah, no, because the hospitals have contracts with certain companies, and so they push their products. You know what I'm saying, and they charge you for it. You know what I'm saying? Well, there ain't no way you're giving my son freaking daggone some over estrogenated product. You know what I'm saying? And he was supposed to be in the belly for a whole nother month. He's still going through developmental stages right now. So there's no way you're gonna freaking daggone punk my son. No way.
Well, I wish, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what, I lost my son at the NICU because they were giving him donated breast milk, and it
really?
killed him. Yeah, it gave him necrotizing enterocolitis. It killed his whole colon. So
did you sue?
I'm trying to, but it's weird because I don't know.
How long ago was that?
I'll say like 3 or 4 years ago.
You have to get a lawyer that's out of state, because the state lawyers that's within the state where the hospital is, they will not they often do not take cases against hospitals.
Yeah,
within their state.
I don't know what's happening because I've been trying to sue because I was like, that's fucked up how y'all and you know what they were saying? We don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know. And I'm like, my one day my son was up there like kicking and doing this. Next thing you know, y'all don't come on now. So anyways, yeah. Watch these hospitals will fuck especially little boys up. They don't want us to have black little boys. They don't want
Black boys,
you start hearing like about black women losing kids. It's usually when they have I have a boy. I believe that when we have a boy, you're a target because that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm trying not to like get all jacked up. So so let's get back into let me just play this because this was really about the Morehouse College situation, right? So Morehouse College. So that whole sermon happened at the induction ceremony of Morehouse College. That sermon you just saw there was at Morehouse College.
Wow.
It wasn't. It was from Morehouse. You know what I'm saying? So Morehouse is now becoming a homosexual institution. Let's go.
That's not what I'm saying. I just need people to help me understand
Let me go back.
how this type of stuff is being accepted. Bishop Oliver C. Clarence is the first openly gay clergyman to be honored at Morehouse, and they're calling this a culture shifting moment. Bishop Oliver C. Allen is recognized as the first openly gay bishop to be honored at Morehouse College. His portrait, created by artist Dwayne Mitchell, was unveiled during a Bayard Rustin Crown Forum on March 19, 2025. Kudos to Mr. Oliver C. Clarence, but I'm extremely confused because as far as I've learned, this is unacceptable right now. I don't have nothing against gay people at all. I don't even care. But I've always had a problem with how they try to mix religion and homosexuality when...
See, that's the thing. Morehouse is an Anglican Christian school, guys. How in the hell is this happening? And then you're gonna like induct a gay pastor into the situation? What?
Right. Sis said, God's people are going to be the minority. Yeah, sis. Narrow is the path, and many are called, but few are chosen.
Morehouse is a black HBCU, but it is Anglican. I don't even know what the fuck Anglican is, but whatever the hell that means is
that's interesting. I should know.
Catholic-ish or whatever. I don't know what
I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? I get lost after Presbyterian.
But it's a Christian, so to speak. So
we all know that in the Bible, that's a non-negotiable, it's non-acceptable. So it's weird to me, especially in the Black Christian sector of religion, we just accept any and everything. We accept any and everything. Now, by no means am I saying that he's a bad person. That's not what I'm saying. I just need people to help me understand how this type of stuff is being accepted. Jesus would not accept this. So how do we? Bishop Oliver C. Clarence is the first openly gay clergyman to be honored at Morehouse, and they're called
crazy. So let's go back into the videos, the first video I talked about where she was actually discussing this. Let's go.
The comment section, y'all. The comments. This woman says something is wrong with us. Someone else. I can't tell if this is Morehouse or a United Church of Christ lecture at Yale. When did we get so far from reality? Not the Morehouse Chapel I remember. Another one says, author of confusion. What are y'all talking about? Y'all are leading these brothers down the wrong path. The Bible does not affirm sin. Genesis chapter 3 just keeps coming to my mind. the devil is coming and talking to Eve saying, did the Lord really say that you cannot eat of the fruit of all the trees in the garden? Did the Lord really say? Yes, he said it. And the tree they were not supposed to eat is called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because man makes up his own rules. Instead of the truth is so-called my truth or another person's truth, instead of the absolute truth of the word.
Ain't that what you said? The me gospel, the whole me aspect of the gospel. Now people are just
Yes, the existentialism. Yeah, yep. Shalom, Aki. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hey, and listen, if you want to come up, I still have anyone that wants to come up and make a statement, because this is crazy. You know, this is insane. Like, and men in high council want to make about a politics thing, you know, but it's not about politics. This is about like the Bible and Christianity and what people are using in their institution, Christian institutions. But people want to make it about Democrats versus Republicans. Who gives a fuck about that, bro?
Right.
You have
Yeah. Yeah, with the Obama situation. It's so interesting. All of the other things that Obama tried to push was getting blocked. Healthcare, all kinds of stuff was getting blocked left and right. But the one thing that they didn't block was the LGBT agenda.
Yeah, because that
right?
destroys us being able to
reproduce. And now don't get it twisted. Like, I don't think, in no way, shape, or form or fashion do I, think that Obama was, any less of a politician than the other 43 other freaking presidents. You know what I'm saying? But it's interesting that everything else was blocked and he was getting freaking daggone blocked on all kinds of stuff. But the one thing that he didn't get blocked on was, this situation.
That's how you know it's the whole thing is a psychological operation. Let's go.
Right.
God. So as you all know, I am a Christian. I am going to proclaim it. I am not going to be ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ that saved me a long time ago. But I want you guys to just realize, like, what is that? What is the point of all of this? And I'm gonna tell you something. I believe the point behind all of this is that there is a push, of course, to move us away from God. But why this particular lifestyle? Why this? Yes, it's to move us away from God, but it is also to keep us from procreating. God says, be fruitful and multiply. You cannot multiply with two people of the same sex. You cannot do that. So anything that God says to do, the world and this beast system says do not do. Right. They've got infinite number of genders. They've got, men with men and women with women. You've got all sorts of things going on that the world is promoting. Open borders, letting criminals out very quickly, even for the most heinous of crimes. That is what the world is doing right now. And the rise of radical Islam, which I've talked a lot about. I've talked a lot about that on this channel. All right, so let's just keep in mind what's really going on here. You got this O.C. Allen, who is a gay man married to another man, and he calls himself bishop. That is a slap in the face of God. The Bible says that the qualifications of a bishop are, and this is in 1 Timothy chapter 3, must be the husband of one wife. Did that?
What? So is that in the Torah or in the New Testament?
That's in the New Testament and in the Torah. Deuteronomy 17:17 says that a person who is in a position of authority should not multiply wives unto themselves, but that he should only have one wife.
But now he made it into a man.
Say husband anywhere. Yeah. One wife, faithful to that wife, must be able to lead his own household well. If you can't lead your own house, how can you manage the church of God? There are qualifications for this, but everybody is rewriting the script. God don't need our help, okay? He does not need our help. So I wanted to point this whole thing out because Morehouse, a Black college, prominent private institution, has been doing this for some time, and they are focusing on inclusivity, diversity and inclusivity. There was even a write-up, and I'm not going to show it to you here, I can link it below, where a freshman, this was back in 2023, that says we're questioning what manhood really is, what a Black man is. He can be straight, he can be gay, he can be non-binary.
What?
And something else they said. Now let's talk about Bishop Patrick L. Wooden's response. He had something to say about this whole entire thing with Morehouse.
I don't know what has happened at good old Morehouse. On their chapel named after Martin Luther King, Dr. King. A portrait honoring a preacher who came to prominence during the Obama administration, who's married to a man. He got a portrait. Currently married to a man. See, when the devil begins to do things like this in public,
Bishop Oliver,
a preacher who came to prominence during the Obama administration, who's married to a man, he got a portrait. Currently married to a man. See, when the devil begins to do things like this in public, that's Satan's way of saying, I got y'all now. That's why there is a rage in me. I'll be honest with you. There's a rage in me. It's called righteous indignation.
What is going on with Morehouse College and Howard University?
What are your thoughts? It's at Howard too. It's in Howard too, yeah. And these are the people that they have like that's in like the top, like as far as like preachers and stuff. Like, what is going on with the Christian church? You know what I'm saying? There's something going on. I can't put my finger on it, you know?
Yes, it's defiled. It's been defiled. And that's what I'm going to be bringing the message on.
Listen, when are you going to do your I'm going to play this real quick. And we're going to like share your page and your show because I really want to support what you got going on.
I'm probably just going to do it on my Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Because I really don't have my own platform on YouTube. I'm not.
Well, if you want to do it over here, you can do it. You know, if you want to
I can do it over here. That's true. I'll do that over here.
Do it. Let's do it. Because I don't listen. I might not be a Christian, but I think the church. I think that it needs to be saved. I don't like that this is happening within the church because the church is a very big part of the Black community, and I hate to see it going.
Right. So they had to they target it and poison the well. You know what I'm saying? Poisoning the well, and then whenever the temple is defiled, the temple was destroyed, and then had to be rebuilt. You know what I'm saying? And that's what my message is going to be about, the defilement. And so I'm going to go into not just the temple, but the name Jesus has been defiled as well from ages of history. You know what I'm saying? Using that name to commit genocides, to commit the transatlantic slaves trade, all of the conquests and stuff, the bloodshed in the name of Christ from all of those years. That is a defilement of a name. See, the temple, you know what I'm saying, it was a place that where God's presence was supposed to show himself. And when that was defiled, God's presence no longer showed itself. But a name is like a seal. A name is a stamp of endorsement. It's God's endorsement through a name. And when you defile the name, Christ didn't defile his name. Humans did, right? And so when you defile the name, then he removes the endorsement. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if his presence would leave out of the temple for the temple being defiled with idolatry, adultery, sexual immoralities, and all of these things, then how much also a name? And this is why in Revelation we see that there was a new name required. So that's what I'm gonna be digging into.
Right. So we're gonna bring him back. We're gonna talk about this Let's play a little bit more real quick, and then we're gonna like wrap this up and give final words. Check this out.
Was built to produce strong Black men. Morehouse College was built to produce strong Black men. That has been its mission for over 150 years, and for generations it worked. But something has shifted, and the men being formed on that campus are being shaped by a very different vision of manhood than the one most families signed up for.
Thank you for this question. So I remember I was in the second grade and I was washing my hands in my grandparents' bathroom at 231 Branham Avenue. And when I looked up into the mirror while washing the residue of the soap off of my fingers, I looked into the mirror and the Spirit of God spoke to me. I'm one of those spooky type of people that believes in spirits and ghosts and haints and all these sorts of things. I really buy into our African ancestral traditions. And so I heard the Spirit speak to me. And there are people who may think I'm crazy, but I heard the Spirit speak to me. And the Spirit of God spoke very clearly and said that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I affirm your attraction to men. And I am going to use you to sound forth the music of liberation.
Yes.
To those who are oppressed, who are like you.
This isn't a cancer culture conversation. This is a family leadership conversation. And if you have a son, you need to hear this. Every parent who has ever sacrificed to send a child to a prestigious institution knows what that investment represents. It is not just tuition, it is trust. And right now, that trust is being tested. Morehouse recently unveiled a portrait of Bishop O.C. Allen inside the Martin Luther King Jr. International Chapel on campus. And I want to be clear, this is not about one portrait on one wall. This is about what that portrait represents, what it signals, and how long that signal has actually been broadcasting. If you are a parent, a father, a family builder, this conversation is for you, because what is at stake is something no diploma can replace.
Give you one illustration of how difficult that is. That means we're not locked into just two genders. That's the big hurdle. The church is having a hard time with that. There are more than just two genders. And if you believe.
Do you hear this, guys? This is a pastor talking to a panel at Morehouse College saying that there's more than one gender.
Was the other guy with the glasses on, was she talking to him or was she just sharing that clip?
I think she was sharing that clip.
Okay.
But
all right.
let me say, the guy in the purple tie is the one talking that there's multiple genders. This is crazy.
That is the ironclad law. Then what you're revealing is that you really don't have a very deep understanding or knowledge about human nature and the human species. You don't realize how the whole creation is evolving, changing every day, growing up to be something very different. And people, as Dr. King used to say, just want to be free. Free to be themselves. And there's where the toxicity comes in, because you have institutional resistance in the church, in the government, and in the universities. It's been going on since the beginning of civilization.
Here is what I need you to understand. The institution was never going to do the job that only you can do. And the moment we stopped paying attention, the drift had already begun. Institutions do not drift overnight. They drift slowly, one small shift at a time. I know this firsthand. Back in 2001, I took my son on a Black college tour through Atlanta. Morehouse had offered him a scholarship, and he turned it down. Not because the academics weren't excellent. He turned it down because of what he observed when we walked that campus. The effeminate energy among several administrators and students was visible even then. It was not subtle. And my son, who knew exactly what kind of man he was becoming, looked at that environment and said, "This is not where I want to be or need to be." He walked away from a scholarship, and we had already talked about why. He knew what healthy manhood looked like. He knew the environment he was walking into could pull at that.
Can you imagine walking away from a scholarship because the amount of homosexuality rampant on the campus that he doesn't even want to be exposed to it enough to where he would walk away from a full scholarship from Morehouse?
Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
I was going to stay in Atlanta until, you know what I'm saying, I realized that, you know, the environment was low.
Too much. Like, what are we doing
You know what I'm
here?
saying? Like, I had,
And he chose
go ahead.
Let's go.
clarity over prestige. That was in 2001, 24 years ago. That signals were there. Most people just were not looking. That is how institutional drift works. It does not announce itself. It shows up in small, easy to overlook moments. A speaker invited to the campus, a program quietly added, a portrait hung in a chapel. Each one on its own seems manageable. But over time, those moments stack. And before long, the institution your family trusted looks very different from the one you enrolled in. And I want to say something here that I do not hear enough people saying. The same caution applies further down the pipeline. Parents, if you are considering enrolling your children in a same-sex academy or primary school, I want you to think carefully. The all-male or all-female environment is not automatically a protected one. The same drift that found its way into Morehouse can find its way into any institution where boys are separated from girls and the vision of manhood or womanhood being modeled goes unchecked. Know what your child is being taught. Know who is in front of them every day. Stay in that conversation because formation does not wait for you to show up. I want to be careful here because what I am about to share is not speculation, it is documented. There is a published book titled Queering Black Churches that lays out a theological framework specifically designed to dismantle what the author calls heteronormality or normity inside some made up word that actually means dismantling what is normal for heterosexuals inside the African American congregations. This is not a blog post. This is not an opinion. This is a structured methodology with language, strategy, and institutional targets. And it is being introduced into Black churches and Black academic institutions right now. One of the individuals honored at Morehouse in connection with the portrait unveiling is connected to this very network of affirming theology. And here is the data point that every family needs to hear. One church in the Atlanta area a congregation of 2,000 people, went down the affirming road. Within a short period, that congregation went from 2,000 members on Sunday to 100. Thank God. 2,000 to 100. Families know when the foundation shifts and they leave if they got wisdom and discernment. They protect their children. They find someone somewhere solid to stand. The question is, are we paying attention before it gets to that point or after? Morehouse is not the beginning of this story. It is the public confirmation of something that has been building for decades. The portrait on that wall did not create the agenda. It just finally made it visible enough that families could no longer look away. Here is the honest truth that most cultural conversations never get to. Institutions are going to do what institutions do. The question is, what are you going to do as the leader of your family? You cannot outsource the formation of your children and then be surprised when they are formed in directions you did not choose. That is not a knock on parents. That is a reality check. The families that will navigate this well are not the ones waiting for Morehouse or any other institution to correct their course. They are the ones building something strong enough at home that their children carry it with them wherever they go. That means fathers who are present and intentional, not perfect, present. It means mothers who hold the standard without apology. It means families who have the hard conversations before the world introduces those topics in the worst possible way. My son knew what he believed before we ever set foot on Morehouse campus. We had already talked about manhood, about what it looks like, what it requires, and what it protects. That conversation, not the scholarship, is what equipped him to make a clear decision for himself. That is what I want for your family too. You cannot control every environment your child will enter, but you can build a foundation strong enough that when the world tries to redefine everything, manhood, womanhood, family, faith, what it means to be, just common factors, your child will have something real to stand on. That does not happen by accident. It happens because you decided it was worth building. I pray that this conversation was valuable to you and it mattered to you. And if it did, like the video, share it, and leave a thoughtful comment below. Video links are related to every topic today in the description. I'm Deborah. This is Family Still Matters. And because family still matters, preserving strong, grounded, God-defined masculinity is not an option. It is essential. The family does not survive without the male, strong Black males. I want to leave you with this final word. Be sober-minded. Be watchful, parents. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Resist him. That means you got the power, the final authority. Resist him, firm in your faith. That is 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 through 9. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. May God continue to richly bless you and your family. God bless.
Now, I'm going to also show you her page. Her name is Family Still Matters. Okay. Please support her. All right. So thank you for sticking here with me. I apologize earlier. You know, we had a disruptor on here. You know, he likes to disrupt. He loves to do it. So
He's a diddler.
man, listen, he loves.
That's a psychological problem too. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing some studies on a lot of these behaviors and stuff, especially with like trollers and stuff like that. It's a mental health issue.
Yeah. Yep.
You know. So anyway, good show. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. And I'll chop it up with you. I'm still working on the presentation, putting it together. You know what I'm saying? I got maybe like 20 or 30 more slides left to go. And then I'll hit you up and we'll go live.
Right.
I want to do it by tomorrow night, but I might have to push it to Monday or something. Depending on how I get through this. Because I'm like sculpting it, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So
right. So yeah, I'm going to like do a little bit more about this whole thing when it comes down into the gay life, because I think that people really need to understand like the things that are involved with it. Because I think that people don't understand it's not just a matter of like, I met my love of my life and we're just in a church and just no, there's way more to it.
yeah. And you might want to grab like some testimonials of people who had lived that lifestyle and some of the things that, you know, like they rejected it or whatever, and for whatever reasons, to see that, you know, what their testimonies are on why they changed from that lifestyle, you know, back to a more traditional one. And you know what I mean? Because it does happen.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you a little bit. I'm gonna show you something that you know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna show you. Yeah, let me just show you this real quick. And I want to just show you a little bit of some of the stuff. This guy his name is Zaddy Dragon. Now I ran into him on Bigo, and he is an out gay man, but he was in the military. And he talks about his story. And I think what I want to do is I want to I'm gonna try to find him because I got off Bigo, but I will play a little bit of his story. Maybe let's speed up a little bit so you can hear. But I want people to hear that. See, people romanticize the gay lifestyle, but it's not as romantic as one might think. So let me kind of like go a little bit more into this.
I also toured on Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
About your different characters and how did they come about?
Okay. Well,
make that bag, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And everybody, I guess, just don't see it like that, because when it comes to money, some people just don't care. As long as they get it theirs, they don't care if you get yours.
Yeah. That's my thing. Like, if it wasn't meant for a group to come together, to actually help each other get bad, then there would be no.
You got a little bit of an echo, sis. You might.
Yes, echo. I didn't realize this whole thing had an echo on.
Like my words running the words.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Those that support me also. But I did run into a few issues where individuals will tell me I'm doing my show, and they'll throw on me.
Well, that is wonderful. So you a fast learner, huh?
Exactly.
I'm trying to find the one where he talked about how he became gay and.
On Bigo, I stayed in my own lane and just kept to myself, and basically my success in the family was based off of what I was doing in my own solo life. I didn't have to go sit on the founder's panel or other family members' panel.
I don't know if this is the one. Hold on. Because the one I saw didn't have. I think this is the one. Here we go. This is the one where he talked about how.
as long as anybody's going to be there, trolls are going to be there.
It's the same dude. Like you said, he's not gay no more because he's still got his eyebrows done.
Listen, it was about how he used to be gay. Listen, hold on, let me see.
He's like,
I got you.
Because I don't think he was there yet. For some reason, I had some of my aunt's stuff at my house, and this box was a box of adult Pampers. So I was so determined that okay, I'm going to church today. So I would get up and I would get ready back. I would have to use the bathroom. I feel like I had to use the bathroom again, and I would go sit back on the toilet. And so this particular Sunday, I was like, I'm going to church. I don't care if I have to use the bathroom on myself. I went in the box of stuff that my aunt had left in my house. There was some adult diapers. I put this adult diaper on, got dressed, and I was on my way to church. As I walked out the house, there was a car, and mind you,
all right. So I think he talks about. Let me go into really quick. All right, here we go. Let me just go into this. Here we go.
It didn't affect it at all because basically, well, as far as like my entertainment career, I stopped competing because while I was on the drugs, I didn't want to do anything but party, and basically the particular drug.
All right, here we go. Here is the part where he talks about how the whole gay lifestyle got him into drugs. Let's go.
By my pastor, and I have no reason not to believe that's what was going on because, as I stated in the last interview, after believing that God would deliver me from hearing these voices and deliver me from what the doctor diagnosed me as, once he put his hands on my ears with this oil that they gave me, it never happened again but one other time. And I can explain that later as far as like how I know I've been delivered from it, and God sometimes gives us messages or sends us signs on when to cut people off or when to.
So he was an ex-military man that ended up being gay. All right, and he's talking about how the drugs kind of like were a part of the whole thing.
So in the house and like so depressed and so scared and so terrified of the things that were being said to me in my head that sometimes the psychiatrist said, when you're feeling that way, okay, look out the window.
Let me go back a little further. Hold on. I want to go into that. Hold on.
Deprivation of sleep, any type of hallucination. Deprivation of sleep induces hallucinations, and pretty much audible hallucinations is what pretty much which was described to me as schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. And it was drug induced, and I was told that it could not be reversed. That I had depleted all the dopamine, which is the chemical that your brain produces when you experience intense pleasure, like whether it be euphoria from a drug, or whether it be even like when you orgasm through sex. That's what you're feeling is this chemical that your brain is pumping through your body to feel that. And I had depleted all of that. So basically taking the medication, a lot of talking in my head to God to try to like drown out the voices I was hearing, which, like I said, my pastor described to me as spiritual warfare. And I was told that basically what I had opened myself up to by introducing these chemicals into my human body, which was basically opening myself up on a spiritual level to be able to hear demonic spirits as well as angelic spirits. Explained to me, but the doctors were saying basically it was schizophrenia. So a lot of prayer, also taking the medication. The medication basically wasn't to like make it go away. It was like for me to be able to deal with it. Abilify was one of the medications I was on, which was basically to keep me calm and I guess not.
So at some, I'm not sure this is the actual. I'm not sure if this is the actual interview that I'm speaking. I'm trying to get the one where he talked about how him being in the lifestyle, like kind of like brought out like this schizophrenic episode, you know? It was like a thing where like let me see. So you know, she's been keeping in touch with them and stuff. I'm trying to find because he was really prevalent on Bigo, and he was talking about how he was really into the lifestyle, and the lifestyle itself brought so much like the drugs of it all, like having all kind of wild sex and taking the drugs brought him into schizophrenia. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing like they were taking the methamphetamine and then also doing it, and then just going and going and going, all night long, and then and I think he talked about how it all happened. I'm trying to figure out where's the one where he talked about that. It might have been that one. I'm not sure, but I was trying to show how. Was that a Dragon One? Was that the one? I don't know where the one is where he.
It's all good.
I'll find it and I'm gonna play it. When I find it, I'm gonna play that one where he talks about like how he would go to these parties and it would be just sex, just real crazy level.
Yeah, you need to hear all of those details.
I know, but
I would say that if that the lifestyle that he got into, however he got into it, was probably the first sign that there was mental instability. Even though the drugs would heighten that, and I do agree that drugs can cause schizoaffective or schizophrenic schizophrenia. I definitely can see that happening. However, I would say that whatever started him off into the lifestyle was probably an instability in itself.
True, I would say that too. Let me see what he talks about in the beginning of here.
I'm about to slide.
Welcome everybody to my YouTube channel, and look, yes,
there was a lot of prayer. And listening to.
Right. So basically, what happened is he's better than that. He got a little bit better, but anyways. So I'm gonna find the original video of this. I might even have him come and talk about it because his story is phenomenal. It's like he actually healed himself of schizophrenia, but by doing certain stuff. But the thing is that like he was really heavily into the community, and the thing is that there was so much drugs and sex and this, that, the other that kind of brought him into that, and it was really crazy. So I'm gonna find out the true, like the whole story about it and find it, and I'll play it and let you guys hear it. Sorry about that. I was trying to find it. I thought I would be able to find it real quick, but couldn't find it. So give like some final thoughts, Zion, about the show today. Let's go.
Yeah, no, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is going right. I'm definitely gonna take that one clip of the of that pastor in the beginning that you had for my piece, even though it's not focused specifically on homosexuality, but that's just one thing that has entered into the church. Or what I'm saying, I mean, that I wouldn't say that it's not the black church is becoming more predominant, but I would say that it was probably, going all the way back to Roman Catholic Church and stuff like that, the influences of Roman and Greek traditions and practices that had that in there. But the defilement, so that's what I wanted to that's why I popped in, because I was like, this right here, I need that little piece right there. I think I got to cut that part out.
Well, thank you for staying. I know you were going to leave me.
Yeah, I'm going to slide out. I gotta
no, you're going to leave me with that with Mr. Man in High Castle and.
Oh, I was going to leave you, yeah, because you keep on bringing that doofus up here.
Well, you know what?
The last time we had the conversation and the man in the high chair that we pointed out what that the homeboy had showed us what that really meant. And then you also got the America First. That term, America First, was started by the Ku Klux Klan. That's a Ku Klux Klan freaking daggone slogan. So when you say America First, when Donald Trump, he knew what he was doing. Now you got people in the DOJ going after that was supposed to be created to go against the Klan. They're going against civil rights leaders right now. I don't know if you watched Indisputed, that brother that does a little newsreel, the black brother.
Yeah,
he just dropped something today talking about how, or was it yesterday, about how the DOJ just turned around and is going after a civil rights movement who is doing, basically
investigating Ku Klux Klan and right wing white supremacist groups. The DOJ turned around and is trying to file something on them. They ain't doing nothing about the freaking Ku Klux Klan.
One thing he did share with me is that the White House did get shut up in the last hour.
This brother's gonna sit there and act like, oh yeah, you know, the Democrats, and I don't care about neither wing of the damn same bird. You know what I'm saying? You can't freaking daggone tear one down without tearing the whole bird down. As far as I'm concerned, this dude just comes in here just trying to flap gums about politics. Like, who's paying this dude? You know, he's on the take. It's a whole freaking coon, bro. And that's why I like, you know what I'm saying, when he was on there and that other dude freaking daggone mulatto or whatever, this dude's a freaking daggone finger sniffers, y'all. I just can't. I can't. And you know what I'm saying? Like, after that one panel, if I seen them on it, if I come on, pop up and see them on your show, I just
well, for some reason they love to come and
listen. Huh?
For some reason they love to come up and try to.
Well, you see what he thought about you, right? He told you what he thought, what he thinks about you today. You see what I'm saying? He told you what he thinks about you. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't waste my time, you know. Get the, you know, you could have better panelists on. You know what I mean?
Well, if you come more often, you won't see him no more. So
yeah, freaking daggone diddlers, you know what I'm saying? Like, just come on your show just so they can propagate some dumb shit, and then you know what I'm saying? I don't know, you know, I don't get it. You know what I mean? I don't get it. They don't have nothing better to do with their lives, I guess.
Right.
Balls. I mean, sound corny as hell too. Be a freaking daggone. Get out of here with your mediocrity, yo. Anyway, love you to death, DJ.
Love you too. Thank you so much for your anything that you brought to the conversation today. Much love, guys. Like I do plan on doing the thing about Africa coming up with the T3andMe. They just have some issues going on, so. But I think either tomorrow or sometime this week we're going to be doing some more with Baba Falakun. So if you guys have been enjoying that content, is more to come. And then when Zion comes to me with his presentation, he's going to be able to come up just like I've been doing with Mighty Hebrew. I want to make this an open place for people to come and like share knowledge. It's not like a thing only about what I got to say. I really want people to able to come up here, and when they have a show that they want to present, just let me know and I'll be here to support you. So much love, everybody.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.